It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
With me being out of town for work and the holidays and some other things, it's been a hot freaking minute since we got to do the podcast. So yeah, but we are back, and yeah, we got a host of shit to talk about. But I'm gonna be really honest with you. Probably the last hour of this is going to just be us talking about Arcane. So,
because I know we've all been chopping at the bit to talk about it.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But all right, let's go through everybody's weeks. So, Bree, go ahead.
Oh boy, where to begin? Let me just give the abridged version of events. I made my first video on a train and in a hotel room. Like what professional writing class is going good. I actually love getting notes, and I feel like I'm actually learning something, and I feel better about myself, like I know what I'm doing. And I'm just realizing the shirt that I wore is like green, so that was a stupid move on my part. And the 3.5 hour shipping video is finally out.
Nice.
It is just a beautiful, beautiful monstrosity.
As it should be. All right, Mike.
So the last time we did this podcast was before we did the anime fall 2024 season impressions. So I was watching a lot of stuff for that. And then obviously Wicked and Gladiator 2. Wicked is, I've seen the movie twice now, both times in Dolby. It is probably going to be in my top 10 for the year for a while.
Yeah, definitely for me too. I mean, wow, imagine hiring people who actually care about the source material and / or were involved with it since the beginning, and having actors that can actually sing Broadway tunes. Like, what a thought! Like, what a concept!
Why would we do that? God's green earth will we ever do that?
Yeah, I can say just without a shadow of a doubt that out of all the musicals that Universal has done, at least over the past decade, this one is just like it destroys everything else, and even apologizes for Dear Evan Hansen and Cats. Well,
I think especially Dear Evan Hansen, because Mark Platt produced that too. So he was like, yeah, I'm sorry about my son's vanity project. Here's the thing you actually really give a shit about, and not just the most poorly aged Tumblr musical. It just got a mini rant. I'm like, Dear Evan Hansen was never good. I don't understand like how that even became a thing, because it's not a good show.
No, and the movie only just made it like 10 times worse. And then what was the last thing I watched? Oh yeah, a bunch of shows for our most recent episode of the animation podcast. Yes, we will be talking about Arcane towards the end of this, but yes, I also have to give a shout out to 2 other Netflix shows, Tokyo Override and Gentry Chow versus the Underworld.
Gentry was so good.
It is so good.
Let me just say, can we just officially call 2024 the year of Bo and Yang? Because he has been going on like all the fucking side quests this year.
Yes.
All right. Kiona?
What has my month been? I don't know. It's just been a blur. It's same old, I guess. Nothing that new.
All right, I guess we ain't got much to share. All right.
No.
I have been going back and forth to Phoenix City, Alabama for work. And then at Thanksgiving, I finally watched Rise of the Tomb Raider. Holy hell, is that good?
Right?
I've never seen people prejudge a show by screenshots and be so horribly wrong about literally every detail of almost every character that they've ever seen. Like, and also, I didn't have it as a thing. Supposedly now it's almost confirmed that Sophie Turner is going to be Lara Croft. Daisy Ridley is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my new favorite voice for Lara ever. And I mean that over the last trilogy we got. She was literally, not hyperbole, perfect.
Oh, that's actually Haley Atwell, who voiced her in the series.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Haley Atwell. Yeah.
Haley Atwell.
I mean, Haley Atwell's great at everything. So
True.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I was saying Daisy Ridley before I was going, but Haley Atwell, yes. Haley Atwell was... What are we even doing? But
she's over 35, Brock. That means she's too old.
how old was Angelina Jolie?
I don't know. 29. I know. She was creeping up in them grandma years.
Yeah, because for the people that care, Haley Atwell's got big tits. I know that's a prerequisite for being Lara Croft, so she
Clearly.
points it out. I know you're all going to care about that because, that's why I hate the Netflix show. And also she had muscle definition for climbing around tombs all day. But, anyway. And then in between going back and forth, I went to a con, and I have to show some artwork. The last one is something that we talked about.
Oh, boy.
This thing. But so I don't get artwork commonly at cons all that much anymore, but I had some that I had to go. For those that don't know, Hanji is my favorite character in Attack on Titan. So when I saw this...
Oh, that is sick.
Nice.
That's cool.
Had to get it. And anyone that even knows me slightly,
of course.
Yeah.
And I've seen this print online, but I finally met the artist at a con. So this is sick as shit. I could not help but get that. But so why I'm bringing up most of these, we talked about a certain mascot a couple of podcasts ago, and how we thought this mascot looked like a certain anime character. When I was at this convention, my buddy stopped dead in his tracks and went, "Weren't you just talking about that in the car?" And then I turned and looked, and I saw what might be my favorite fan art of all time.
Yeah.
I was like, I will pay you everything. I need it.
I do. The funny thing is that they had last night, because I have no control of my life, but I was watching SpongeBob at 1:30 in the morning. They had Tea at the Tree Dome on, and then it has the I need it. That's just what I heard.
That's pretty much what it was. I was like, I'm in cosplay right now. I'll pay you now, and I'm picking up that print on Sunday. They're like, okay, sounds good. I had to. Oh my gosh. If we have time, we'll talk about it later. But I have to also say now, on these trips back and forth, driving to Phoenix City and stuff, I've listened to From Zero probably 12 times now. That might be my third favorite Linkin Park album. I have nothing against any of the other albums, but that album to me has a better hit ratio than most of their later albums did.
I think that's fair.
To me. There's legit only one song on there I don't consider at least a 9, and that's Overflow, and I consider it a 7.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Cut the bridge. I gave you everything I had, and Good Things Gone are in my top 10 of Linkin Park songs ever. They're before fucking good.
I'll say this: before the album came out, the songs I listened to the most were "Heavy as a Crown," and at the time, only a live version of "Casualty" was available. But since the album came out, I have pretty much had Good Things Go on repeat for days.
I might be seeing them in Milwaukee or Minneapolis, Rihanna. I have to wait to see if some friends want to go because shockingly the tickets aren't that expensive. for the seats that I was looking at, and I was looking at some pretty nice seats. But okay. So anyway, that's all I really had. At least that's all that I think that I had. Didn't have a whole lot else going on, but yeah. So let's get through some of these topics. All right, on to some shocking news that we never expected to hear. My fire cell that the Spider-Man spin-off universe is officially dead.
No, no, say it ain't so, Amy Pascal.
Oh no, whatever will we do?
We're not going to get that El Muerto movie. No.
I keep forgetting that was in development.
So did they.
So did they. So Mike, buy or buy? What are you
I'm not just buying. I'm taking double.
It's
full admission, baby. I guess things aren't going so great for Craven that the delay was necessary.
Hey, that director and Aaron Taylor Johnson promised us that the movie's good.
But is it Sonic 3 good? Like, that's the question that everyone needs to know.
Probably not. Kiona, I know you're really.
I definitely buy it. It's yeah. Ooh. At this point,
Time to just light up that effigy. It's own voice.
Yep, it's
all
done.
Right. Bree, buy or sell that Richard Kind is the new president of SAG-AFTRA.
Honestly, like, interesting choice, and honestly, like, I don't have like a huge horse in this race, but I'm like, I feel if anyone, if there's anyone that could kind of realign to like the realities of what are happening right now, I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, the fact that SAG as a union seems to constantly like rotate its leadership, like, I don't see that necessarily as a bad thing. I just see that it's evolving with the changing environments. And I think for like, especially in like acting and entertainment, it's probably better to not have someone who is as complacent.
Yeah. I also just noticing now that the words on your sweatshirt affect your green screen.
Yeah, that's what I said. But it's a blue. Oh, that's right. I have a green screen. I forgot. See, I just pulled it out of my closet. I was like, that's good enough. I'm like, oh no, that doesn't work. All right. Well, I guess you could see my chest. So
I buy literally anyone who is not the previous leader of SAG-AFTRA. They do definitely need fresh blood at the helm.
That they do. And they had to pick the guy that they based Colin Farrell's prosthetics on for the Penguin.
Exactly.
Oh, he's just like, why didn't you just put some scars on Richard Kind? Like, that's what you were going for. Kiona, buy or sell?
I buy it, definitely. Yeah. Like Mike said, I agree with him.
Absolutely.
This is Richard Kind.
All right. So I know that we had to kiss goodbye to some classic cinema because the Spiderverse is gone, but now on to some real cinema. Mike, buy or sell that Baz Luhrmann is in talks with Paramount Pictures to direct a Fred Durst biopic rumored to be titled My Way with Glenn Powell playing Fred Durst.
How
can you not buy this?
Like, I don't think I wanted anything more in my life.
But can Glenn Powell pull off a backwards red cap? That is the question.
Actually, wait. A quick side tangent. One of the other movies I saw this weekend is it's not really that good, but the movie Y2K, directed by Kyle Mooney.
I saw your post on Twitter and I had no idea he was in that movie.
Yeah, no, he is like, he's basically the hero of the movie, and it's great.
It's not good. That's not good. If Fred Durst is the shining light, your movie.
Oh, Fred Durst.
Big bong.
Well, Well, the only problem with that, Zach, is that he would disappear during negotiations.
Ouch.
I know.
Free by yourself.
I mean, first of all, you had me at Fred Durst, Baz Luhrmann. Like, I was already fucking sold of that because I know it's going to be literally the most fucking insane thing ever.
And then you throw in Glenn Powell.
Yeah, it's just a little treat. It's just a little.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but I want some crazy ass pick like Seth Green to be. Oh shit! Now I can't think of his name. Who's their guitarist that always paints himself weird?
Oh, Wes Borland.
As Wes Borland. They need to have someone fucking weird as Wes Borland.
You know who might be good? Kieran Culkin.
Actually, I could see that.
Sad part is my brain is just going Keanu Reeves because I can just see him with the spike hair. But Keanu, buy or sell the he said she said bullshit.
I will only sarcastically buy it. Oh my god.
Will this be the next Spice World? We'll never know.
Oh Lord.
No, I mean, that's the problem with society. We need a new Spice World.
Would it have been better if they called it the chocolate starfish? That is the question.
Yeah.
God, I'm gonna fucking talk about.
When we see the movie, results may vary. All right. Anyway, so Kiona, buy or sell? Denzel Washington has perhaps said a bit too much, confirming that director Ryan Coogler is writing a part for him in Black Panther 3.
I would buy Denzel in the movie. Yeah. I think it's about time for him to be in a comic book movie.
He's the guy who I wanted to be the replacement for Kang.
Mm-hmm.
I could actually see that, and it would
have Denzel be anybody.
Possibly.
I'm picturing who's this character in shit. No, what is it? The movie's in with Ethan Hawke.
Training Day.
Training Day. I'm picturing that. You fuckers would have been playing basketball in Pelican Bay without me. Thanos ain't got shit on me. But yeah, I don't know who he would be, but I mean, Denzel sounded like he didn't want to do this stuff, but then all of a sudden it kind of sounded like because it's Ryan Coogler that he's going to say yes. So,
I mean, that's the reason why I'm buying it because, again, he's also said in interviews lately that he's been more selective about his roles.
Yeah.
So if this is one of them, then yeah, count me in.
I mean, I get that. I mean, especially since he's starting to get up there now. And also he's Denzel Washington. Like, he doesn't have to, like, just take parts.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anything that he doesn't want to do.
I can't remember that freaking ridiculous. I was watching some interview with him where, like, he hasn't auditioned for a role in, like, 15 years.
I can believe that.
Mm-hmm. Same.
It was like 2000 something was the last, like, before pre 2010 was the last time they're like, what? He's like, yeah, I don't audition anymore. I just get hand. I'm like, when you get to the point of where you're not even auditioning, it's just you're just Denzel Washington. You just get what you get. All right, so we got a little bit, a chunk of gaming news here, and then we're going to get a little bit of movie, and then we're going to be clean on to basically Arcane for the rest of the time. All right, so Shuhei Yoshida is retiring from Sony after 31 years, effective January 15th, 2025.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the end of an era.
Yeah.
He's been at Sony for 2 years short of my entire lifespan.
Yeah. I mean, I think since at least since PlayStation, at least since the very first PlayStation.
What year did PlayStation 1 come out?
That was what I wanted to ask.
I think, wasn't it 94?
95. Yeah, 94 in Japan. I think.
It came out in December 3rd, 1994. So he would have been around during the dealings to try and get what would have been the Sony disk drive in the Nintendo.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
entirely
insane. The fact that The fact that they're just saying no first to PlayStation is unfreaking real. Well, Umbreon, you're probably not going to want to listen later on if you haven't finished, because there's going to be a lot of things said about a lot of things with Arcane later on.
I mean, Mike knows I have thoughts, and we're going to make a comparison.
All right, so Mass Effect creator Casey Hudson announced on LinkedIn that Humanoid Origin, his new studio that was working on his new sci-fi IP, is shut down despite efforts to shield the studio from broader challenges in the industry. An unexpected shortfall of funding left us unable to sustain operations.
Well, that's too bad. I wanted to see what they were cooking up, but being that the market is so volatile now, I don't think that
it is.
It's hard to get a new venture out there. So I'm not surprised, but I'm sad.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just, and now the only thing I'm kind of thinking is, the only thing I would like to hear is, so we have a lead blank hired on the next Mass Effect game, and it's Casey Hudson.
It's Casey Hudson. Yeah,
you're gonna get people excited again.
Yep.
Casey would do it.
Yep.
All right, so
that'd certainly be nice.
A thing that has been a rumor for a while, and there's more details have come up. From Software owner Kadakowa is supposedly the one that actually approached Sony about a full-on buyout and not the other way around. Now, the rumor is that Sony has been trying for years to buy not Kadakowa, but just the gaming and anime divisions from Kadakowa. They have movie stuff, they have printing licenses and distributing stuff there and other anime whatevers, but they want to be bought completely, and I guess they want to be bought out and are wanting to be bought by Sony to block a hostile takeover from, what was it, Kakao, another Japanese company that they fear would not be good for them. I guess they're wanting this because they're actually scared of a hostile takeover from another company. So they're openly trying to play ball to get themselves bought to go that way, which is something I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Because they were very much anti being bought, period. And that was just from Software. But now I guess, which I looked up, supposedly Sony has it was either, what way was that? 2% in Kadakowa and 14% of From Software in stocks. So, I mean, that would be cool. I'm just telling you right now, people that think the want for a Bloodborne remaster or a 60 or a PC port was bad now, if that happens, holy shit, we're never going to hear the end of it.
We're never going to hear. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But all right, so
intriguing, definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yes. All right. A Canadian law firm is proposing a class action lawsuit against, this is a cast of things that's all together, Rockstar, Roblox, Activision, Blizzard, Sony, and more for causing psychologically harmful game addiction in players.
Wait, what?
Sick.
I like how Roblox and Rockstar are in the same category for this.
Are we really doing this? Is this just seriously?
I'm shocked this is Canada and not Australia.
Yeah, frankly. Yeah, you're right.
For those that don't know, you're lucky if you can get Pokemon in Australia for how tight freaking censorship laws for games are there.
True.
But I haven't heard any more of that. That was one of the earliest ones we got on, but I haven't heard any more from it.
Is there argument based on monetization of things? Because
it wasn't real specific. It was just that it's causing a addictive.
They're just saying it's addictive to
behavior.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
It's not that they're causing shootings anymore. It's that they're becoming addictive.
Ain't the first time. It ain't gonna be the last time.
I know this is Canada. They thought,
unfortunately,
pass this in society.
Well, not to get it's controversial, but to certain recent events, one of the blames things, because I guess we're still in 1999, is that Among Us Did you guys read that article?
I did. I saw that. I saw the little bit, the relevant.
Yeah, don't
part.
worry. It used to be back at not to bring up a bad times. Remember back in the day when they blamed Doom for Columbine?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And now we're blaming Among Us for a CEO getting shot. We're really advancing in the times here.
But here's the thing, though. At least Doom, I can kind of, if I'm squinting like really, really hard, sort of see it. But Among Us is a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It is, but you have people hiding in plain sight, and he had a hood on, and
Not even Reed Richards could stretch that far.
oh, he's like, "Do you ever play Halo? Because that's a reach." Anyway, I'm Asian. Oh my gosh, Umbria.
God damn it.
That timing, though.
Umbreon, that might be the funniest fucking thing you've ever said. Oh, God. For those listening in a audio only, a follower of the podcast, Umbreon, said, "I'm Asian and even I can't squint that far." Dear God. Okay. So this was something that we had a text chat about, and I will say that I've kind of faltered on my opinions here, but I will say for different reasons. The Game Awards, expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in all categories if the jury deems a new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination. Now, we had a little discussion while I was on my way in the airport about the Game Awards nominees. Now, I've learned something.
Okay.
The nominee situation is really dumb behind closed curtains because Bree brought up looking at this, and Bree doesn't game as much as most people, so I get this, or like out of us, that Balatro and another thing being brought in there is kind of making it seem like we didn't have a lot of hits this year. But then I was like, Rise of the Ronin was there. We had Stellar Blade, which got shafted, and then like
Stellar Blade got shafted.
25 games that could have been in here. And then I can't remember who I was listening to. I believe it was Castle Super Beast, where basically how they judge it and some of this stuff gets brought up, where basically if someone fucking screams loud enough in the voting room, they're going to put it in to shut them up. So of course, it's kind of, and then we get people, gamers, that bitched about this, and then they put up the voting for voters' choice, gamers' choice of pick of the year, and 3 of them are mobile games. 3 of the 5. So I don't even think people know what they're mad at anymore. Now, I will say, this is going to cause a big shitstorm because me and Kiona are both going to agree that if you're going to nominate DLCs that I'm blanking. Phantom Liberty should have been.
Phantom Liberty, yeah. Phantom Liberty didn't get anything last year or this year. Right.
Now I will say, as far as a DLC that got nominated, the Erd Tree is bigger than most games that get made nowadays.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
As far as that goes, yes. But I'm going to cut the slippery slope off and people make sure you're listening to this so that I'm not misconstruing myself here. Remasters, no. Mm-hmm. Remakes,
yes.
RE4, yes.
Agree.
The same game, but you literally started from the bottom and remade the whole freaking thing. Yes. Like, go ahead.
I'll add a little thing there. I would say that for remasters, I would say not for Game of the Year, but I don't mind like a Marvel vs. Capcom collection getting nominated for Fighting Game of the Year.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair.
100%. Or like Action Game of the Year if they like remastered Devil May Cry but yeah, Game of the Year, no. Like I would have been actively fucking irritated if somehow the remaster of Horizon got a Game of the Year nomination.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, if it's a full like remake, like RE4 or something, or like then
it's a different game.
That's a different game.
100%. Where you actually
they put work into it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they put more work into it as opposed to like just giving the textures a bump up.
All right. absolutely.
I think that they should do an expansion of the year thing if they really wanted to do that.
DLC of the year. Oh,
Yeah, like DLC or expansion of the year. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, I hate to use the Golden Globes as an example because I don't think the Golden Globes are a real award show.
No.
But the one thing that they do right, and I do agree with this, is splitting like drama and then like comedy and musical. I feel like the Game Awards needs to do something similar, where we have the best, like, you know, game of the year, and then best, you know, expansion or like sequel of the year or some bullshit like that.
Yeah. Because Kiona, you can agree with me. There's like 8 awards that we could rip out of that show and I'd be fine.
all of the esports ones, all of them. I don't care. Who cares?
Like one.
Does anyone give a shit?
Like one esport team of the year, fine. But there's like 7 of them. And like streamer of the year, something like that, fine, whatever. But there's just awards where it's like five things in a category, and I've heard of none of them.
Right. Yeah, I know.
And one of those things is always going to be fucking Genshin Impact.
Because of course.
It is.
Of course.
Either that or now Honkai Star Rail, which, you know, Keon's very happy that he got to see the announcement trailer for.
So happy that I missed the air bit and got to see Honkai Star Rail. Yes, I was very happy about that. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm hoping? Speaking of which, I'm hoping that Brianna White gets that award on Thursday. I'm really hoping that she does.
Who's all nominated?
She is the guy that played James in Silent Hill 2 remaster. Is God, I'm sorry, I'm still blanking on a whole bunch of people. But
for stream,
anyway,
you were saying, or voice for
no, for Aerith, for her performance as Aerith.
Okay, yeah, very well could be. We'll have to see what it is.
I really hope that she gets that, because she deserves it. But you know, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
Hope Rebirth gets something.
The year that I understand he was a hot vampire and everybody wanted to fuck him, but Yuri Lowenthal not getting performance of the year for what he put in Spider-Man 2 was a fucking robbery.
Yeah.
That man blew his voice clean out.
He's so good in that. I mean, I haven't really played through that game yet, so I've only heard him at the beginning. But even at the beginning, like you could tell from the setup, from the jump in that game, that he's going to go through shit.
Dude, there is a moment in there where he has a fight with their version of Scream.
Yeah,
the symbiote.
Yeah.
It's the best voice acting I've seen him ever do. Ooh, and that's coming from a guy whose favorite anime is Gurren Lagann.
So with Yuri, though, didn't he played Spider-Man previously to this, didn't he?
He played him in, God, I want to say that short-lived Disney one that also had Miles in it.
No, was that the short-lived one? Are you talking about the Drake Bell one?
No, he's talking about the one from it's just called Marvel's Spider-Man from 2017 to 2020.
Oh God, yeah. No, I thought that was Yuri, but I don't think that is him.
He played him in a Spider-Man cartoon. I swear to God, it was that one.
No, but it sounded like Yuri, but it wasn't. Let me just see. Yeah, now I remember.
Spider-Man before this, I know he has, because they openly said they didn't want to pick Yuri again when they were doing this, because he's already.
Okay, so he wasn't actually Peter Parker, but he was other characters in that show.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But
Spider-Man before.
It was Robbie Draymond, I think, voiced. Was that him?
Yeah, Robbie Damon.
Yeah, Robbie Damon. Which, to be fair, both him and Yuri do kind of have similar voices.
He played him in something, because that was part of the reason why he had to re-audition like 4 times, because they didn't want him to play him again. I don't remember what he played him in, but he has played Spider-Man before. And then he kind of just took the role over, because he was him in Marvel Knights. I'm pretty sure it's him in Marvel Rivals, or Midnight Suns is what I meant to say for the other one. But anyway.
Yeah, Yuri Lowenthal in that show, he was Lizard.
He was Lizard. That's a weird thing. All right. Anyway. Okay, so for those that don't know too much about this, apparently there was a secondary adpocalypse that was going on.
Oh, really?
It only affected people that had a certain tag on it. There's a guy who I watch quite a bit called Pirate Software, and he has a nonprofit, like I think it was a ferret farm or a mink farm or something, where it's all completely sponsored by YouTube or like Twitch ad revenue, and his never tanked at all. Has never moved. It was only certain gamers that had a certain tag in their bio for what games they were playing. You didn't get as much ad revenue. So as soon as they removed that tag, their ads went back up to normal. Then you had these people, these just out of date fucking idiots who I can tell have never worked a regular job, where they were talking about how their ad revenue in a day, they were talking about how their ad revenue in a day used to be 10K, and then this ad revenue hit and it went down to 2K, and their exact term of phrase was, if I wanted to only earn 2K a day, I would go be a mailman.
It's like, do you know the things I would do for $2,000 a day?
A day.
This goes back to the there was a TikTok trend of people going out asking African Americans that if they would go pick cotton for $600 an hour, and every one of them said yes. They're like, it's $600 an hour. It's like, but yeah, you make that in a month. That is, if I work overtime, that is what my paychecks are for 2 weeks. If I work overtime, and I'm a higher up position at my factory that I work at. People just never having worked jobs and being streamers blows my mind how out of date they are with what actual realistic pay grades are. Like,
yeah, that is just beyond ridiculous.
It is beyond ridiculous. All right, so I have one last one left. Ex-Capcom dev Hideaki Itsuno, the god of Devil May Cry, is now heading up Lightspeed Studio Japan. So he is at a new studio doing his own thing.
Ew.
Now, I as much as people know that I'm a giant Devil May Cry fan, if he ends up making called Angels Always Smile, I'm going to be a little irritated. But if he makes something that's good, I'm happy and I'm good. I want to know what goes on with Devil May Cry after this. But if Hideaki, after being at Capcom for so damn long, was like, you would have spent the next 6 years of your life making another Devil May Cry, and like he would have retired on that. It's up to him, do whatever. But yeah, that's what's going on with that. Now, all right. Didn't have a whole lot of movie news, but I added anime news into here because we had some of that. So this is where I normally am not irritated with subscription services, but this is fucking stupid. I don't know how many of you caught this, but Crunchyroll has announced that the company will require a premium membership for users to view a majority of the episodes of One Piece.
I have two questions. I thought for Crunchyroll's back catalog, that was already a thing.
It gets worse.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
It gets worse. I know what you're going to say, but it gets worse. According to the stream website, the animated series will shift to a subscription only, which occurs in 3 phases. Just for One Piece, they're doing this. The first phase will take place on Monday, December 23rd, that every episode from Water 7 to Davy Back arcs to Fisherman's Island will require a premium membership starting on that date. The second phase will be Punk Hazard to Whole Cake Island arcs, and anime specials will be streamed on Monday, January 20th, 2025. The third phase will be Reverie up to the current arc, which is Egghead arc on Monday, February 17th, 2025. The first 200 episodes of the series will remain on the free service ad-supported tier. The animated, but they basically have 3 different versions to watch the entirety of One Piece. That's fucked.
Well, here's the other thing I was going to add on. I'm like, we're about to see a new age of piracy.
That is one thing that I was going to bring up that they're going to get at too, because where is that? Where is it? So, reduced piracy sites. Major anime and manga anti-piracy AI project gets approval from Japanese government.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
On anti-piracy sites for AI use AI to crack down on anime streaming sites.
Yeah, because in Japan, copyright laws are like almost non-existent, or at the very least are just 10 times more strict than they are in the US.
Yes, it's unreal. But yeah, so there's.
I mean, here's the thing: I don't condone piracy, but I'm like, you ain't gonna, fucking track every single like mega upload or like everything. I'm like, plus
enough AI, you can.
Well, not only that, but like other like VPNs like overseas, like Netflix has like the rights to One Piece too. So I'm like,
yeah, it's one of those that it's just. And here's going to be the fucked part. They're doing that, and now we're making another version of One Piece while we're at it. Because Wit Studio is remaking One Piece.
That's right. That's still happening.
Are you going to have premium no matter what to watch that?
Yeah. Probably.
I think the big question is like, why just One Piece, or is this
the one that gets watched the most, and it has the one with the most episodes that you could lock behind tiers?
Okay, that I don't like that, but I understand that line of thinking.
Yeah,
it's dumb, but I get it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I get you. It is dumb, but yeah, it's just one of those things where they're realizing that One Piece is going to be hot no matter what, pretty much, and that's one thing that just makes.
I mean, it's what's kind of crazy, especially here with One Piece, because boy, did that get off to like a very rocky start. I mean, I kind of feel like once you have a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, like you've kind of like made it as like a mainstream thing.
Umbreon, which studio is remaking One Piece animated, but it's basically cutting all the fat out and not stretching out all the episodes like it did. So it's probably going to take about a third of the amount of episodes. So yes, it is getting a remake while the original is still happening, while it's also getting a live action. Yes, Umbreon. Yeah. But yeah.
So it's going to be about 300 episodes instead of 800 or 1,000 or whatever.
It's going to be 300, but it was one of those things where they wanted to have an episode weekly for forever. And I was watching talking with a buddy who is caught up on the manga in One Piece. And like, he brought it up to, I can't remember what the character is, but this character shows up at a dock and it's one page. And they turn that scene into that one page into 10 minutes.
Mm.
Like that level of expansion. Like, I don't mean to bring it up again, but my favorite one is that JoJo's Bizarre Adventures manga is bigger than One Piece's. And I have not cracked 300 episodes.
Well, I think weekly episodes are just kind of a thing of the past now for like a lot of these shows. Like,
because they finally kicked what's-his-face off of Pure Studios.
Good.
He was the guy that got all that trend started with freaking Naruto and all that back in the day. And that's why that all of it is going seasonal there too, which is nice, because why do we need that? Why do we need Gray at a dance competition? Why do we need people in Bleach making a movie? Why do we need this?
I will say the Bleach standalone use fillers, like especially in the middle series, some of them are actually fun because they're actually based off of like, color use pages. But other than that, like the filler arcs, I'm like, no.
All right. So there's got this stuff. We're actually cooking through this. I think we'll get through everything. All right. Today, a report announced that Hasbro will no longer be putting money down on a popular movie IPs to which they currently hold rights to. This news comes after a string of flops in theaters, including this year's Transformers 1 anime movie, despite its praises and fans and critics. What was the other thing that I got here? It's Netflix has a licensing agreement with Power Rangers, but has yet to exercise a deal in a future movie. The only film in the pipeline right now is a Transformers G.I. Joe live action crossover following the events of Rise of the Beasts. So basically, if you're a partner with Paramount and you want to make a movie, you're 100% fitting the bill from now on, I guess.
Sounds like Hasbro is just like they're just throwing in the towel.
Yeah, it sounds like they're getting ready to get out of the movie business.
I will never get over that as a society, we let that Power Rangers film fail because that turned into, well, it didn't make $80 bazillion, so we're going to cancel it. And no one talked about it enough and make Hasbro Studios where we're going to make all this stuff. And then we're going to make Power Rangers. That's a movie that's tied in with all this. And then that didn't work. And we refuse to admit that the latter half of the Transformers movies are doing bad because people somehow think that they're tied in with the other ones still. And people really freaking hated those towards the end.
For that, I blame Lorenzo de Bonaventura, who has no idea what he's talking about half the time.
It's just, they might be tied in, but they're not, even though the timelines make no fucking sense, and they couldn't be if they, I'm just...
Yeah, I'm like, just saying it's a soft reboot. I'm like...
New! I mean, the designs look the same, and it's live action, I get it, but it's new. God, just say it's new. Yeah. Like, and then they're like, no, they're the same movies. You don't understand it. I'm like, in the original continuity... Unicron is Earth. In the last Bay Transformers movie, they revealed that Unicron is the planet Earth. I don't know if y'all paid attention to Rise of the Beasts, but Unicron is not the planet Earth in that one. Nope. So they might just be different continuities. They also changed the years that Bumblebee shows up on Earth. It's almost like they're different. And the freaking the Bay movies didn't even follow their own continuity either, because it was supposed to be that B shows up with Optimus in them in
2007.
And then by the fifth movie, Bumblebee was helping fight Nazis in World War II.
And not only that, if we're going under the assumption that Bumblebee is a prequel, then that means he's been here since like fucking 1987. Like, what the fuck?
Are you telling me that he doesn't even go here, Umbreon? It's just one of those. I was just like, yeah. But company not knowing what they're talking about. Speaking of a guy who knows what he's talking about, Todd McFarlane says he could fix Joker too.
I could fix her.
My wife and I went and saw it. I liked it more than she did. I'm going to put my ego out there. I go, give me all the film, put me in a room for 3 days and let me edit it. I think there's a hybrid in there that would work for what it is. Legendary comic book artist Todd McFarlane says. This was the most random headline I saw that I had to put in here.
You can't even get Spawn off the ground.
Yeah, but you know what the sad thing is that even if it was an incoherent mess, it probably still would have been a better movie.
Probably would have. It probably would have. All right. So on to situations that maybe could be fixed or should be fixed. All of Jonathan Majors' charges got dropped.
All of them.
All of them. All of them. For basically lack of coherent evidence. So, glad we gave up on those King properties, huh? Because, he was a bad person.
I still don't think they should have used Kang.
They should. With one movie left, they should have. With one movie left?
No, I mean, like, from the beginning, he shouldn't have been the next big villain. They should have just not gone there. You gotta
use him at some point. if you
but for like an Avengers movie, don't make him like the next guy after Thanos. It just doesn't work.
What else can you have sit in the background at this point?
Doom. They should have gone with Doom from the beginning. After Thanos, after Infinity, they should have gone with Doom.
When they were planning this?
No, I'm just saying that they should have they should have come up with something.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They couldn't have done anyone else for who they had at the time, because I don't think all that shit was cleared when they were starting this.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, because when did the Fox deal finalize?
2017.
Or maybe just Doom.
Or it's 2019. If something
it was 2019.
I don't know.
Doing the multiverse, Kang is a pretty perfect person to use.
Actually, I think I know. I think, and again,
utilize him well though.
I guess with a little bit of hindsight, perhaps the multiverse either shouldn't have been right after Thanos, or I don't know, because
it was weird. Like, it was a weird direction for them to go in. It did.
No, I feel like multiverse should have been a phase 5, but I almost kind of just feel like, part of it was because of like Spider-Verse, because I mean, I'd have to imagine that both of them were probably in development around like the same time, and they were like, oh, let's do that, even obviously different production companies, but we're, in sync or just whatever. But I think just going into like another big like galaxy brain like saga like right after Thanos, God, that was such a fucking mistake. It really just should have been like back to basic, introduce like more like street level heroes, maybe set up like young Avengers. But
maybe do something like that.
Though. That's what everyone bitched at, that it needed to be bigger, because every time something went smaller, everyone bitched about it.
Well, and this is why you shouldn't fucking ever listen to fans.
Well,
that's what they're doing now, though. That's why you have Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I know. And
which one do we listen to them on? Because we're in this situation now because we listen to fans. And
it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, really.
I mean, it's the same reason why Star Wars is probably never, ever going to be good again, ever.
Star Wars is in the situation it's in because they bought it and went, we'll think of the plan later.
Well, that was part of it. But also, with nostalgia things like, oh, hey, look at all the Star Wars things. We're making shows for people whose favorite thing in the world was the fucking like Ewoks fucking adventures bullshit.
This is something I have to bring up, because every time this gets brought up, I feel everyone lost the plot of what Kang actually was, and that's why they feel he wasn't utilized well. They act like they killed the only fucking Kang.
Oh yeah.
The literal purpose of his character is the fact that he's scary, but you never actually stop him. He always comes back. That was the point of why, even though they killed him in that movie, he was absolutely fucking terrifying.
Yeah, he's like a multiverse or a time cockroach.
Yes, and that's why everyone's like, well, he wasn't that terrifying. They killed him in that movie. I'm like, no, that's why he's terrifying, because he's still fucking there.
But is that not undercut by the Stadium of Kangs, where it's just played for laughs?
Where it was played for laughs because you had a whole stadium of people ready, showing that you could kill him 1,000,000 times and he's still going to be there.
To me, he's just not like what? Just get Ant-Man in there and he'll just kill all of them. Like, it's what is? I don't.
That's what I mean. You got a singular situation where he could barely deal with one Kang. If that would have been a situation in real life where they were up and they weren't shrunk in that shit, he would not have been able to do that. That was a singular situation where he got insanely fucking lucky and got rid of one Kang.
Yeah, and hear me out. I'm like, here's like the real reason why they got rid of Jonathan Majors. It's because Ant-Man 3 is a bad movie, and they lost so much money. and they were never going to recoup it. So they're like, well, we'll just kill two birds with one stone, get rid of our PR problem and justify like not doing any more of these.
Well, if we're going to go off that logic, that movie still made money. We should have killed off Thor with Dark World if we're going off that.
Well, I think
I'm just being honest here, because if we're going off a bad movie kills it, the MCU should have been dead in everyone's opinion in the middle of phase 2.
Right, but also I don't think the movies back then cost like $300-400 million. Most of them probably cost like 150-200.
No, they were still racking up pretty high ones, but that one didn't make it much money back, and they still have made a 4th Thor movie. That's where it's like they can make it back on other ones, but as soon as we have one movie someone doesn't like, we should kill it, and then that's going back to, well, you shouldn't listen to fans. But
Thor: The Dark World only had a budget of, well, around 150. It's either 150 to 200 to 250, but it made like over 600 million worldwide.
Okay, and on that same token, apparently Multiverse of Madness was terrible, but that made 8, if I'm not mistaken. 800. Everyone hates that movie outside of like 2 scenes because apparently it was terrible. That's where we get to the point of who are we listening to. And every time it comes to sometimes we should listen to fans and sometimes we shouldn't, and sometimes we should drop shit. Now, every time we don't like a new hero, we're just going to bring back someone else to play a character again. Eventually, you have to ride shit out because they can't bring back Robert Downey Jr. again.
I know. Well, that's the whole problem is that they, what's been happening with Star Wars is just trickling over to Marvel, and that's just a bigger issue that's been going on throughout Disney at least the last 2 or 3 years.
That's what I mean with riding shit out. Star Wars, as soon as something doesn't work, they go, well, fuck it, we'll move on to something else, and then it becomes a mess. So even if we don't like something sometimes, if it still can work enough to be literally at the finish line and we have to just fall over and be done, now it's going to be, we have Doom for one movie as Downey, and now if they ever try and replace him, no one's going to like it because no one's going to like it because it's not Downey.
Yeah, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now.
So once we get past this, we don't know what the fuck the villain is past Doom. Are they going to accept anyone, or are they just going to think it's going to be, well, we didn't like Kang, so fuck this next guy, give us Doom for the rest of our lives? That's what they were. It's just, if you're going to plan something, you can't plan 8 movies and then go fuck you at the 90% point.
I agree with you there.
It sucks. I mean, I know that a lot of people didn't like certain parts, but some things they kind of have to go through with it, even if it's shitty. Because at that point, if you were announcing that they were still doing the multiverse and you were bringing back Downey and Evans as different versions of Iron Man and Tony Stark and Cap, you would have made your money back regardless if Kang was in the fucking thing or not. You would.
Yeah.
It would not have mattered who the fuck it was. And then you would have been out of that, and you could start off Doom with someone who's not RDJ, and you could not have to pay $100 billion every time he's in a movie to have him around. Because if we're going to have Doom, I want him to be around, and you're not going to be able to afford to have Downey around at his fucking price range.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No.
So this is where we hit the sticky point of, what the fuck? But yeah, anyway. All right. So
it is what it is.
It is. All right. There's going to be one at least guaranteed, if not multiple post-credit scenes in the new Sonic movie, and it's going to introduce a new character. Who do you guys think it is? Other than Amy.
Big the cat.
If they had any balls, it'd be Rouge.
I told Mike that they would do Rouge if they do a Shadow movie.
They can be edgy together.
Is it going to be Where Sonic? Maybe it'll be Where Sonic.
Oh my fucking god! Get shit out of here. Part of me thinks that it's going to be Metal Sonic.
I think so.
Metal Sonic would be cool.
Because that's the next big bad. I mean, you have Shadow in the way. And then like
what was that? What was the one Sonic game where he had the human girlfriend? Maybe it'll be her.
6. That everyone hates. They like a character that's in it. They like Silver, but they hate the fact that they had him macking on a girl.
Hey, speaking of characters, what about Silver?
I don't know. His literal only plot process was being a part of that game. Like that's his one thing, and that's it. So he's tied to Sonic macking on a human.
You know what? It's crazy. Is that most of what I know about Sonic 06 is from the Snap Cube dub.
But yeah, that's all it is. And it's like, I've said I want to see Vex the Crocodile, and it has to be voiced by John Cena. Like that's what I want. And like you say Big the Cat, I could easily have that. I see Big the Cat being voiced by someone like John C. Reilly, or like
or Ron Funches.
Ron Funches, that could be.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. They'll go out of the box and get someone like Jeffrey Irons. I don't know. I don't know.
Chris Pratt. It'll be Chris Pratt.
No.
Be voiced by Chris Pratt. Pissing on the moon. Oh,
yeah.
Good God. I had no idea what that was all about. I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And then I was like, no, it's Run Band Up. That checks out. All right. So, got that. Yeah, we're barely at it now. We're good here. So, one thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to get through this and then we'll have the last hour to talk about Arcane. What were some of your guys' favorite tracks from Zero who all listened to it? I know I mentioned earlier in mine that Cut the Bridge, I Gave You Everything I Had, and Good Things Go were my absolute favorite. Stained is really freaking good too. But anyone who has listened through it, your thoughts on it, where you'd rank it, anything.
So I guess in order of how often I will go back to individual tracks, my favorite would be Casualty, Heavy as the Crown.
I knew you were going to like Casualty.
Well, yeah, of course.
Get your screamy dance on.
Two-Faced and Good Things Go.
Two-Faced is fucking good. Two-Faced is so fucking good. Anyone else who has listened to it?
I haven't totally deep dive it, but still, from what I've listened, Heavy as the Crown is still one of my favorites.
Yeah, same.
That version of Heavy as the Crown from Arcane.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Anyone that thinks that Emily can't sing it at this point, just shut the fuck up.
Oh my God, her screaming is like melodic. I'm like, dude, stop being a hater. Like, fuck you.
Everything, I'm telling you right now, go listen to Over Each Other, I Gave You Everything I Had, and Good Things Go. The very end chunk of Good Things Go by her is fucking immaculate.
Yep.
So good. She can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just breaks down to be dickish. Most of the people that are complaining were fans of Chester and not fans of Linkin Park. Because I'm telling you right now, that CD, that album is a fucking Linkin Park album.
No, I mean, especially Heavy as the Crowd. I'm like, it was still modern, but I'm like, wow, this sounds like 2001 Linkin Park.
Yeah,
it does. Absolutely. Yeah, it's me and Umbreon on streams, other stuff have been freaking out about how much we love freaking over that album. It's so good. There is a lyric in I Gave You Everything I Had that might be one of my favorite lyrics of all time. It's, "You're not as honest as you act. You're just a devil with a god complex."
That's such a good line.
That's fucking awesome.
Great line. Yeah. I'll even say,
my God.
I'll even say, I know it was like the first track that everybody heard, so it's kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. But I would even say like Emptiness Machine is actually a really good song. Like it gets in my head, it gets stuck in my head. Yeah, so it's actually quite good.
It's also just a great first single because that's just a great showcase for what Emily can do.
Absolutely. Like the only crap I give to Overflow is that it kind of sounds like they wanted to make an Imagine Dragons song. That's a weird thing now with like almost every rock band that I'm a fan of. They almost always have that one that sounds like they were trying to make an Imagine Dragons song, and it's only ever one on the album.
I mean, hey, Imagine Dragons is obviously doing something right. I mean, they're in fucking everything.
They are. And like I've always said, the biggest accomplishment that Arcane has is it made me like an Imagine Dragons song.
Right? Same.
Even though it has one of the worst, if any of you have listened to that full song, like Jid is awesome in it, but his rap part cuts out of nowhere. Whoever edited that song, it's weird.
Did you hear the new version of it that's more in line with the opening of the show? It's like the orchestral version?
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, that's at least more subtle. At least then it kind of like goes.
That's better. Yeah, I felt like that was a better, like you said, Brock, it was better edited. Yeah,
it just
for sure.
And it like stops. And
and then it just stops like on a dime or something, and I'm just like, whoa.
Like I was really enjoying this. I thought you were going to ease out of it, and then
it just kind of ends.
Well, I think that just goes to my overall like. And I kind of hated this with like Disney songs just too. Whenever they did like the pop version of it, I just inherently don't like it as much. And I'm like, I still like the, pop single version of Enemy like well enough. But like the version that fits in the show, like for me, it's always going to be like a million.
I like the same orchestral backing in it is really good.
Absolutely.
I like the fill-ins that they do there, the little fills that they do.
Yeah. Now, I will say, get a different song for the other shows.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
That is our
definitely needed.
Maybe do something like someone gave me we'll get into it later about what they said these spinoffs and other things could be. Someone gave the idea for after they said obviously that you're going to see more of Vi and Caitlin later on, and I basically know how it is, and it goes back into me not having people have any fucking media literacy whatsoever when it comes to just realizing what they're doing in plots without holding your fucking hand. Someone brought up the idea Piltover's Finest. And then I was like, if you bring back maybe that for like Arcane characters, maybe. But you need to have something else. And I don't know what the guy's name was, but they have like one guy who's in charge of picking out all the music for all the scenes. Have that guy work on every show. Because for whatever you don't like of Arcane, the music is banging in every scene.
The music is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The soundtrack's awesome.
Yeah. Something that Cameron and I brought up when we did our podcast is you see the money on screen, like with both seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
Between the animation and the music, like the money is well spent.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Yep. Speaking of money well spent, The Onion has acquired InfoWars in a bankruptcy auction.
Such a great troll.
The plan is to debut a new InfoWars in January that will serve as a parody, mocking weird internet personalities like Alex Jones. The Onion CEO says that he acquired it because it was the funniest thing that has ever happened.
Well, I mean, he's right. But also, like, I don't like to quote celebrities, but to quote one, Kim Kardashian, it's what she deserves.
Dear God. All right. We were going to talk about this on the next podcast, but since we're kind of cruising through topics, we're going to get into it now. So Zack Snyder is proffering his own take on AI. According to an interview with Wired, educating yourself and understanding what it can and can't do is important right now, especially where it exists in image making and storytelling, he said. You have to be able to use it as a tool as opposed to standing on the sidelines with your hands on your hips. Snyder continued in his infinite wisdom, AI doesn't care if a house is on fire or if it's on Mars or whether it's underwater. All the things that might cost the filmmaker a lot of money to shoot, to the AI, no different.
Yeah, I can see.
Are we still having it where Michael Bay is on the top of the moral high ground? Everyone else is down here.
You know, as you were reading that, I could see like Mike's like mustache hairs like start to go up, and I could see you get angrier and angrier.
I can't. Every time a new director, I'm like, new director comments on AI, and you don't have a backbone. Got it.
Well, I think
Didn't Ben Affleck say something similar about AI like 2 weeks before this?
I think he did.
I mean, we all know that the DGA is a bunch of class traitors anyway, so like, it's really surprising.
But yeah, and of Zack Snyder, of all people, that kind of is funny, if I'm going to be honest, because I can't wait to hear the next batch of if he starts using AI intensely of the Snyder cultists to be like, see, this is his own vision that he crafted on his own that no one else can do.
Oh, it's really happening.
He didn't use AI for that part. That was him. Really?
The second you start blurring the lines like that, trust goes way out the window.
Yeah, that's probably. All right, so I have partial show to tell for this next version of social media was a mistake. So I was just sitting in my hotel room in Phoenix City while I was looking over some stuff, and I come across this tweet. Now that the MCU is dying, they're talking about Deadpool $1.34 billion. That is still a flop considering Endgame made $2.7 billion. That's like a 50% drop, and it's embarrassing.
The fact that he has an anime PS2. Yeah. I'm like, you go on the special bus, don't you?
And it started off with a tweet saying, now that the MCU is dying, can we finally replace Hawkeye and Black Widow for Ant-Man and the Wasp as it should have been? Yeah, because that would have made them more money in the beginning.
Yeah, that would have made it better.
Apparently, a flop is $1.34 billion because
that is
every
flop.
Endgame money.
Yeah, but here's
Not the math.
But here's like the thing, even with Endgame, like I think, not counting of it, let's just assume it's for like one money and not combining the two. Let's just say Endgame's budget was like $250 million. Like to break even, it would have only had to make, I know, I'm saying only, like it's a little amount of money, but like 800 or 900 million. And it would have been successful.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Wolverine probably had, like half that budget.
Oh, absolutely. That had shoestring on it, but barely had more than what they usually do. But yeah, I did. Okay, so there was that. And then there's, the crowd of people that got introduced when the Horizon Forbidden West came out. And they showed a close-up of Aloy's face, and they showed that there was peach fuzz on there.
Yes.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Showing that
I think so too.
Most people have never actually seen a woman up close. We then saw this tweet. And I'm going to read this verbatim so that people are somehow listening to this in an audio environment. Know that I'm not lying by the expressions on your faces. As usual suspects are drooling all over this fossil with literally 0 eggs in the crate. To me, that's more disturbing than what they call pedophilia because it's a sign of a dangerous biological mutation in men. The photo is showing Marissa Tomei looking amazing in her 60th birthday. Go ahead.
Guys, here's what I need you to do. Call your eye doctor.
Fuck up. That's what we could do.
Call your eye doctor, schedule an appointment, and then shut up forever.
Shut up, people. My God. Oh my God.
I almost threw up in my room when I saw this. Are you actually fucking kidding me? As human beings, they should be ashamed. Who saw this photo? If any woman cannot bear children, then women are ugly.
No, that's exactly it, Umbreon.
Yeah. And then we get this thing where, and here's the thing also that Marissa Tomei for is that when she was cast as Aunt May, because she didn't look like a great-great-grandmother.
Yeah, exactly.
You could still be someone's aunt and be old. And then when someone brought up that she was like 54, they were like, well, she doesn't look 54, so it doesn't count.
What?
But now
Are you kidding
that
me?
she's 60 and a fucking fossil, apparently.
Here's the problem. If you don't even, slightly like MILFs, like there's something wrong with you. And I'm just going to stare at you suspiciously.
Wow.
Do any of you guys know the comedian Anthony Jeselnik?
That name sounds familiar.
Not by
Mostly
name. No.
known for roasts, but he had a brand new stand-up come out on Netflix. And he was like, this new joke I never know how to tell with people, but I'm going to tell it anyway. And he's like, Sigmund Freud's mom must have been so fucking hot. Where he's like, the people and his colleagues went, you know what? Your mom is hot enough to, yes, print that paper. For those that don't know, what was his exact thing? Every child has this innate urge to, I believe it was, kill their father and have sex with their mother. And then who in his committee went, you know what? His mom is that hot. You should publish that paper. We agree with you.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I just had to show you all.
No, but I appreciate you showing me this because this further validates my decision that I don't fuck with Twitter anymore.
Sigmund Freud, the first guy in history to go, hear me out.
Maybe this Oedipus guy had a point.
They just, and they wonder why. Here's the thing. So for those that don't know, I basically scroll Twitter where I get most of the topics from. And then we're like, well, we're not going to be able to do the show for like 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden it went, well, that's probably a good thing because my whole entire Twitter was nothing but Arcane for 3 weeks. And it's finally at its healing phase now that it's getting other things. But, yeah. All right. So.
Hang on. Didn't you have a third one?
I have a third one. We're getting there. But, okay. So.
For the record, Marissa Tomei is a fox at 60.
Marissa Tomei looks better than most new celebrities look that are like.
Agreed.
Anyone that has working eyeballs and says Marissa Tomei is ugly, let's forget the whole no eggs in that crate fucking comment.
Yeah.
You just no longer need to speak. Like, there's a difference between types and then just arguably beautiful or like objectively beautiful. Marissa Tomei is objectively beautiful.
Yes. You know what?
You don't get to say she isn't.
You know what, Brock? You need to say the line.
Snow pants and a horse head mask, and she would still be beautiful.
Yes.
All right, Brock, you got to say the line. Say the line, Brock. Say the line. Say the line.
You don't deserve women. I've heard my own say the line, Bart. And the fact
Did you watch the Simpsons game last night?
No, but I
What
saw.
the hell was that?
I don't know what that was.
What was
I
that?
can tell you.
Oh, it's great. Honestly, these train wreck games I look forward to every year, and honestly, this might have been like the best one because I hate the Cowboys, long Cowboys hater, and seeing that blocked punt and like three animated 3D was fucking hilarious.
Our Umbreon, the other one is ovaries. Sorry, get that one in there. That's the other one. Sorry, yes, that is the problem with all women. They have ovaries and they're terrifying. Okay, so here's the other one. So those that don't know, MHA, the final chapter came out, and then quite recently, the mangaka wrote an extra chapter, which people aren't fans of. And when I say people, I mean fucking weirdos, aren't a fan of. So people are mass blocking the MHA creator and having an actual breakdown because a heterosexual ship that has been in the plot since the beginning of the show got confirmed. And not the headcanon abusive gay relationship that everyone hoped happened.
Well, here's the thing that made it worse is that literally, and I was discussing it with like one of my clients, is that basically the other part, I guess, mild spoiler, like his Toga came in as like a fucking force ghost or like whatever. Like
she pushes her towards her.
Yeah, I know. So that she could have Deku's. Like the whole way that it's set up is fucking weird. I'm like, why does Toga even have to fucking like be here like to begin with?
What if you don't? I got it explained to me. It's not as weird. What happens for anyone that wants spoilers for My Hero Academia? I apologize. In the very last part of like, there's a point where Uraraka is going to die, and like Toga and her have had a big rivalry throughout the whole thing, and she gives her a blood transfusion. Like she turns into Uraraka and gives her a blood transfusion and saves her life, and then passes away. So there's actually a part of Toga in her, like period. Her literal blood is in her. And then Uraraka has always been nervous and always like, I'm not going to do this. And towards the end, they were finally friends and like understood each other. So it was finally Toga going, you should be happy. Finally go fucking talk to him. They actually built it up. If you see it without context, it is very weird. But I had the context explained to me and it works. It's just everyone being mad that Bakugo, who literally abused and beat the fuck out of Deku throughout the entire show and made fun of him for crying, were mad because they weren't together when neither of them showed signs of being gay ever. And this is going to be something that goes into our Arcane discussion also, because a lot of people were pissed about shit in that too. It becomes the point where now, if straight relationships happen in media, people kind of get actually upset about it.
Well, here's like the other thing, like, you know, being this queer baited by like a shonen manga's like losing the chest to a dog. Like, I don't know what to fucking tell you.
That's a pretty good descriptor.
Yeah, I just don't get where you can have headcanons about what your little favorite, like, I've showed on this podcast the fucking monstrosity that is the Ruby ship chart. You can have whatever you want, but if it's not confirmed in the show and doesn't have anything in relevance in the show, you can't be upset with the creator because they didn't do the thing you wanted and didn't make your dolls kiss each other.
But Brock, they should have just gone.
I don't know what those two objects were that you put together.
It's me, Steve, my stress ball.
I know the stress ball. The other, was that a sock?
It was my hand guard because I'm an artist and my hand breaks. So I don't know.
There, Umbreon, another person that say it exactly. It's just the shipping shit needs to go. Like another perfect example of this, we'll go on this and then it's basically be Arcane for the rest of the time. In volume 7 of Ruby. Quite Crow Bronwyn is a character who his entire every character in Ruby has a thing called the semblance. God damn it!
God, son of a bitch.
What if we? But he has a semblance where he has a AOE effect on himself that causes bad luck. Which he's a crow, albatross, all this. They're based on characters. So he continuously throughout the show has things go wrong with him, and anyone around him gets in bad situations, and it's very hard for him to let anyone in close because they either die, get captured, or something god awful happens. So he's a loner. And he at this point quit drinking because of his nieces and stuff talking into him, and he finally quits drinking. He gets to a good spot, and then in this season, they have him run into a male character whose semblance is literally the exact opposite, where he has an AOE effect of good luck. And Crow becomes really good friends with this dude because they're on patrols together, and like he needs to get the two teams together to train, and one is the adult for one and one is the adult for the other. So Crow is finally allowed to be around any kind of friend that he can not worry that his bad luck is going to get this fucking guy killed. So he actually had someone that he could be around and not be a curse to them. So then immediately it's, well, they're fucking. Immediately. So much to the point of where later on they're transporting a criminal named Tyrion who gets out of his restraints because he's having an argument between these two because they have opposing thoughts on how to deal with the big bad of the series approaching the city, and they need to evacuate people or deal with her, where he gets loose, the transport they're in crashes, and then Tyrion grabs Crow's sword and kills this guy Clover and frames Crow for it. It got so bad to where it's a sunset in the background. People were taking that scene and color correcting it to make it look like a gay pride flag and then posting it on Twitter as if it was the real photo, saying that the writers of the show hate gay people and they should be bashed for it. They're anti-LGBTQ because they put a gay pride flag in front of them killing a gay character who in this exact same show, an episode later, was shown to be the love interest of a female character that was in that show. So they're literally going out of their way to be upset that, and you can have gay relationships, you can have straight relationships, but when we actually start bashing writers because you had a character not be gay, that's not okay. Be whatever you want, but don't force your headcanons on people and then want to death threat a writer because it didn't go the way you wanted and they didn't have the sexual orientation that you liked. I'll go back again. Leron from Gurren Lagann is a transgender mechanic. I like him. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm about as straight white male as you can be. But I'm not upset that he's a transgender mechanic because that's what they chose for the character. Don't be upset because it's not the thing you like. You can like things that aren't exactly you. Your whole personality should not be what your sexual orientation is. That's not good. That's how you drive people away from you for being upset over such little things. But anyway, sorry, I had to get that off my chest. They're mass blocking him and ripping the creator apart because of that. If you are not the person ahead of the creative property and you don't know how it goes, deactivate your Twitter if you're going to send death threats. Just stop it. You shouldn't have anything. See, I don't try to sound offensive that other things are bad. Again, whatever you want to be, just don't force it onto something that you don't think it is. What the fuck? I thought you're, oh my God. Umbreon, that's only when I'm alone. All right. So for now until probably the next hour and a half, it's probably only going to be us talking about Arcane. Everyone from now on, spoilers for Arcane until the podcast is over. So if you've not watched Arcane or don't care, it's up to you. All right. My turn to dip. All right. See ya, Umbria. So I'm gonna get everyone's basic views first, but everyone's opinion on the first season of Arcane. Bree.
Pretty much like perfect.
Okay, Kiona.
Same. What Bree said. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much perfection.
Yeah, same. Absolute perfection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In my opinion as well, it was pretty much perfect. All right. So for anyone who's watching this and has not seen, again, spoiler warning, we're going to talk about Arcane 2 weeks late. So if by this time you have not watched 9 hours of 6.5 hours of television, I apologize, but you might get spoiled. All right. So we're going to talk about just basic stuff we liked, and then we'll get on to things we might change. And I'm going to bring up some sticking points later for people to see how you guys feel about them. But it's basically just going to start off with things that you like the most and like favorite arcs, stuff like that. For me, a lot of their character designs all the way throughout this were fantastic. Little introductions of certain people, even if they were certain for plot points, like Isha was great. I don't know if anything in Arcane has gotten me quite as hard, and I posted it. I was literally curled up in a ball crying in my hotel room when the "What are you waiting for? He's your dad too."
Yeah, that was some good shit.
Yeah.
Fucking destroyed me. And with the "What have they done to us" playing in the background, showing how fucked up their family has gotten, that I couldn't. And some of the things that in this season versus the first one, the comedy in this season was ratcheted up quite a bit. When that one Piltover enforcer says Jinx looks like a half-eaten circus tent. Or when Jinx is chewing out Vine, he's like, what about those oversized bitch mittens that you didn't design yourself?
Honestly, whatever problems I would have with the season, the dialogue is absolutely not one of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
The writing's off the fucking charts, but get that the ending to a certain character that we're going to get on later. I don't think I've actively cheered more for a character's death in my life.
Same though. Same. I fist pumped when that happened.
I was
so happy about that.
Fuck, yeah!
And the way that it happened was so like objectively hilarious too.
It was.
It's just so nonchalant. Just bye, we didn't care. You're useless. Goodbye. But yeah, and again, the music, the fight choreography was just off the charts. But yeah, that's enough. Mike, favorite things or parts from the season?
The stuff with Victor and Jace, I think, are some of my favorite parts of. It's introduced a bit in Act 2, but Act 3 is like pretty much that is like the focus. And as much as I love the relationship between Kate and Vi, it really is like the Victor stuff that I found the most fascinating.
Did anyone else other than me forget the fact that Victor met Sky when he was a child?
I will admit I forgot about that.
Because someone replayed me show the clip on Twitter, like, how the fuck did I forget this? When Victor's playing with his boat in the river, little girl comes walking up and they're like, Sky, get back here. Fuck you. What? But anyway, keep going, Mike. I'm sorry.
What was I going to say? Yeah. We will have to talk about some negatives, and I am going to bring up a video that Council of Geeks put out, where they talked about pretty much the big issue with season 2, which is it wasn't really that well paced, but and I know there's a story about that in our notes, but
Yeah.
the content, all that content is really rich.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I will openly say that the pacing of it's legit, like main and only issue I have. And we'll get into conversations of how different stuff with that, because there's more stuff that I found out later from another interview that they have that I don't quite have in the notes yet. But Kiona, go ahead.
Oh, Bree can go before me. I'll go last.
So actually, I kind of wanted to interject this with Mike. Did you want to make our comparison now?
Yeah, let's do that now, because when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's pretty accurate.
Okay, so anyone who knows is that Wicked is probably one of my all-time favorite musicals. I love Wicked to death. Other than Ariana Grande, I may be one of Wicked's strongest warriors. But I will admit that for as perfect as the first act of Wicked is, part 2 of the musical is kind of a train wreck, and where it's basically like 35 to 40 minutes, we're basically stuffing in as many like fucking Wizard of Oz references as we can, and we're just trying to like book through everything because we got that intermission and we just have to keep this under like 3 hours. And while it still ends good, you kind of go, I kind of wish we had like a little bit more time. And the reason I bring this up is because Arcane season 2, and maybe even Arcane as a whole, the issues I have, especially with like pacing or the way like certain things like play out, reminds me so fucking goddamn much of Wicked.
I'll bring up another point that that Vera brought up in that video. They said that if we are to take the creators at face value, that this was always meant to be 2 seasons, then they even admitted in hindsight, season 1 probably isn't well paced either. If the plan from the beginning was we're going to make this 2 seasons. That's the reason. That's the main reason why I don't take their comments at face value.
But even then, and honestly, I feel like a lot of my issues with Arcane season 2, they're also present in season 1, but you don't really notice it as much because it has like the focused emotional through line of, Vi and Jinx are trying to reunite and Vi's trying to save her system. Like that's the central focus. The main core of like Arcane season 2's issue is like the same issues I have with like the second act of Wicked, where like the first part of the show is like the relationship between Glinda and Alphaba. Like there's like, for like Arcane, like there's like no like focus. It's like, okay, like who's the focus of the show? Is it, fucking is Jason, if Victor, is it Kate and Vi, is it Kate and James? Like there's so many things going on, at once. If we're trying to cram in as many references to fucking League as possible, and we're like, okay, thing has to happen, and then we have like the Black Rose, and just like so many fucking things are happening, and then that while it's not a train wreck per se, it's just like the focus is just like all the fuck over the place.
Yeah. By and large, I would agree with that. I think that season 2, like, okay, favorite things about season 2. I thought the animation was brilliant.
Definitely.
I love the mixture of the 2D elements and 3D elements together. I think it's awesome what they did. Everything looks so painterly. There are moments, and they even highlight the moments that could just, I want them all as my desktop PC's wallpapers. You know what I mean? Like they're just so incredibly well done. I love the introduction of Warwick / Vander. I love that introduction. I love the frickin' like the Misha Mansour like backing track that they use for that. That's just full metal. It's awesome. Thought they did a really good job. And I I love the fact that Arcane always kind of pulls the rug out from under you, and you think that it's going to go in one direction and it's going to get like super deep into storytelling tropes, and you think you know where it's going, but then they do it in a completely different way. I think they still had that in season 2, which I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed that aspect of season 1. And I, of course, Kate and Vi all the time. Love it. I like the little connection that we see with Victor and Jace. And finally that's made clear at the end of that, that Victor was the mage in season 1. I thought that was cool.
Time travel properly.
Yeah, and Brock, what you said about him meeting Sky when he's like very young and stuff, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And an interesting point when you consider. And I think too that I love like Mbessa's character in a way. I think she was a great antagonist / villain. I love the moments that show her being emotional because she's so stoic all the time, and she's so like she offers this image of herself, or she puts forth this image of herself as being like the absolute warrior goddess. I am immovable and I am like unreadable. You know what I mean? And then there are moments where she's completely readable and completely movable. And one of those is when what was the name of her right hand guy? I'm blanking on it right now. But anyway, the guy that used like the spears and everything to attack. Her reaction to him getting just mauled by Warwick Vander was freaking awesome. I love that moment, and I love the fact that they give her a chance to be a little bit more, even though what she does is kind of, it's detestable, obviously, what she does, and very manipulative, and I don't really like her character, even though she is a muscle mommy. I think that she is allowed to be complex, and I enjoyed that about her and about her arc. And there are moments where she cares about Mel. And you can see it on her face, and the fact, that it all goes back to what she said to her in the beginning, which is that she made her weak, or what she tells Mel, I should say. So I thought that was a well done arc, as rushed as it was, which it was. I love the fact that we hear Heimerdinger sing.
Yes,
awesome.
That was awesome. The voice actor was it?
Yeah, Mick Riggett.
Yep.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah, that was really, really cool. I did enjoy the detour to see like Powder and Echo and their relationship and what happened in that.
Oh, that was the best episode of the season, and then you could tell like that was a fucking Amanda Overton episode.
Yeah, it was very good, even though I missed my vibe. But it was really good, and I think that I like the fact that they took the time out to show us what happened with Echo and Heimerdinger. I thought that was good. Heimerdinger's sacrifice was very sad as well. Other than that, I mean, just like Brock said, the end of that particular character was amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so great. I love Kate coming into her own and becoming more of a warrior, even though we kind of like, we had to kind of rush that whole subplot. I also love the memes that came out of the fact that as soon as she was called Cupcake by Vi, it immediately just melted her. That was so funny.
One of that was situations like this is why the Winter Soldier had such a complicated activation code. She heard Cupcake and she gave up.
Speaking of which, did you see that clip of like the Arcane voice actors like voicing like memes, and then like Katie Long says, "What are we, a league of legends?"
Oh my God.
Which is sad because that's basically what the original lore of League was.
Right. But I wish that we had more of that. I kind of wish that we had more of the Kate and Vi stuff throughout the whole season. Yeah. But of course I want more Kate Vi because that's who I am. Yeah, I mean, it was a good season. I would say it was a great season, but You know what's interesting is that for me, usually with Arcane, so I have this kind of like, it's almost like a ritual now. It's almost like something that I do where I would watch the 3 episodes and then I would go back and immediately rewatch them. Or like in the first season, I think I saw the first 6 episodes and then I would go back and rewatch them immediately afterwards. The last 3 of this season, I have not watched a second time. I only watched it through once. And after that, I just had this feeling of like, even to this day, like I can't watch recaps, and I'm wondering why that is. And you know, maybe in discussing it, we'll figure it out. But I'm just like, what I was talking with one of my friends about, I was saying that like maybe it was the Jinx plot because of what happens with her and the fact that her depression and her like her downward spiral is so goddamn relatable, and it felt.
I'm gonna bring up later.
It felt to me like I was almost watching like it was almost like a mirror of like what I felt at multiple times during this year, and so maybe it's that. I don't know though, because like I said, my through line in this show has been from the beginning Vi, and not Jinx. Even though I love Jinx, I love her as a character. I love Powder as a character. But Vi has been my emotional connection to this series. And I don't know for a fact if that's the case. But anyway, also one more thing before I let you guys talk. I'm sorry for going on for so long. But one more thing is that I love the flashbacks with Vander and Silco. And
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm on the spot right now, so it's like I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, shoot.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Her name's a combination of the two. What the hell is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. Felicia.
Yeah.
Felicia. Okay. And I kind of think, okay, now this is speculation on my part, but did you guys kind of get a little bit of a little hint of like Vander kind of was in love with her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
I definitely got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't just me then. Phew.
Also, one thing, speaking of love, just to go back to episode 7 a sec, because I was editing a review and then I noticed it. So the dance sequence is animated in 4 frames per second because of Echo's time limit.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
Yeah. And
that's a cool detail.
Pointed out in the beginning episode, whatever it's 1 or 2 in season 1, when Enzo comes to go get him, and he's like, "Come on, little man." He said, "Give me a couple seconds."
Yeah.
Exactly 4 seconds to get the shot. It's like fucking. But okay, so we're gonna. The one that I have to bring up that I thought was fucking hilarious the more I thought about it as we went on. Arcane hires Fortiche, which is a French animation studio, and then is shocked when they have to slap them on the wrist for possibly breaking the ratings code in a sex scene.
I'm like, did you not see that blue is the warmest color shit in the fucking shower scene last season? I'm like, you hired Frenchies. I'm like, what the fuck?
And I just loved how it immediately went to people where they're going, so you're telling me they broke out the hex strap and that was too much.
I mean, it was still like, it's really good. I mean,
it's spicy.
No, I mean, they really pushed like the TV-14 rating.
Well, that's one thing that I have to wonder about. For people that don't know, they had to keep the rating with the game, otherwise the rating of the game changes, and I get all that. Here's my question. I don't remember how many times it was said in season 1, but they say fuck a remarkably large amount of times in this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they only said fuck it once in season 1.
So we've learned in the adaptation game, when it's a show, you can say fuck a bunch of times and it doesn't break the R rating, but tits will. So we've learned there's levels.
There are levels, yeah.
But it's funny, like as a joke, because I was actually doing an Arcane video for one of my regularist clients, and as a joke, because me and my friend Gio were talking about like his mother's fear of like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and then to like censor it to make it ad safe for YouTube, right where you see Kate buys cleavage, I just put a picture of the Pillsbury Doughboy over it.
Oh, don't worry. According to most people on Twitter, they both had male body types because Kate doesn't have giant tits.
Oh,
That was another one.
I mean, she's tall and skinny. She wouldn't have boobs. You don't understand how women's bodies work.
I'm like, anyone who saw that and went, yes, Caitlyn is the one with the tits in the relationship when she's 90% legs.
Like, what are we doing here?
Like, you do not see the curvature of Caitlyn and go, yep, the boobs is what's doing it. What show have you been watching? Did you watch her bend down to take the sniper shot on Jinx in the first 2 episodes? I'm sorry, the curvature's on the back end, good sir. But okay, so there's little stuff that gets brought up in the show and things that like that I have to bring up because I'm gonna bring up like why they said certain things and why they did certain ways, and I'm gonna bring up how we felt about certain things and how I feel that part of why some people didn't like this is there was not as much hand holding for certain events as there were in the first season, because there wasn't. I think we can all agree they were pretty blunt in most situations in the first one and left it up to people in this one compared to the first season. So they've openly said that they structured it a little bit differently in this one. And then they also admitted in an interview later that there is stuff that they cut and they had other things to where they did it the way they did it because if they would have done another season, it would have been 5 minutes of plot and the rest would have been pretty boring shit that they would have had to made up that they didn't have originally. So they made the choice to do it this way because they had enough to compactly make 2 seasons worth without making it boring. If that's true, as much as I will admit myself there was some pacing issues, I would have preferred that. Now, would I say that you couldn't have squeaked out 2 more episodes maybe? Yes. But another season, if they're being honest, probably no. Now, someone did bring up the fact that if you would have had to make up a bunch of new stuff, they could have done Piltover versus Zahn and then eventually Zahn and Piltover versus Noxia, which they could have done. But again, if you didn't have the ideas in your brain, I'd much rather have you have the stuff you have written and then deal with it that way. So there's going to be some things here that some people didn't like or were sticking points that I should say for certain people. But there's some things that I have to get off my chest where and I believe Keona's going to agree with me on one of these, where people just don't understand that a character can make a decision that is bad and that not be bad writing.
Yeah.
Biggest one is what happens with Vi and Jinx in the ass end of episode 8. So, Jinx, who literally just watched the embodiment what would have been her little sister die in an explosion with who was her second dad that she thought was already dead and watched die a second time, would be a little upset. She's been through the ringer, to put it lightly. So when Vi, who comes down and is shown to this point to be her one weakness, which is something I relate very much with Vi with, and everyone likes to forget that this is her main plot point, she always puts herself last. She is the big sister to everyone in the show.
That's her whole character.
Exactly, and that's why I fucking love her. She goes down to go let Powder out. Or let Jinx out.
Let Jinx
says, we can fix this. The guards were gone. You're free. You're gone. You're good. And then Jinx goes, you're never going to give up on me, are you? Jinx realizes that Vi, even though it is a good thing, does have an actual problem to where she is more focused on everyone else and never lets herself have something.
Yeah.
She then locks her in and goes, I understand you're always going to love me, but you need to let yourself have some happiness on top of everyone else's decisions. So then Jinx, who to this point has lost her parents, lost her surrogate dad twice, 3 times if you count Silco, lost Isha, has shown that basically her nickname that she got, being a Jinx, is being proved to her at all times that it's going to follow her.
Yeah.
It is not out of character or a bad writing decision that a person would want to possibly off themselves in that situation.
Wait, people are saying it's a bad decision? Get the fuck out of here.
People are saying that, no, that's dumb. And that's bad to show people that she might want to kill herself in that situation because that's not regular behavior. I've seen this on all ends that, yeah, you're right. In that situation, that is the wrong thing to do. But it is not wrong that a person could think that way. And like Kiona, you don't got to get into it as much as you want to. Twice in my life, once in 6th grade and once when I was about 30, I wanted to kill myself. In 6th grade, I'm only alive because the school liaison caught me after the teacher found my suicide note faster than I thought she was going to. And I wasn't institutionalized because my mother begged them to not send me into the crazy house. And then I was having an existential crisis when I turned 30, that I was not far enough where I wanted to be, and I was just not doing well. And I was at one of the lowest points in my life where all my siblings are doing better than me. Everything is doing fine. I was fucking locked in my house for COVID with no one else around me. And that thought creeped into my brain again. Anyone that sees that situation with Jinx and goes, no one would think that way. I mean this with all of my heart. Never watch a property of media ever again, because you are the most media illiterate and thought and anything illiterate person I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Ever. Just because a person in a show makes a decision that is wrong in the moment does not mean that that is bad writing. That is making it so a character can learn that they were about to do something wrong, which then happens 2 seconds later when Echo is fucking playing Life is Strange for 2 minutes straight, trying to stop her from killing herself. Because he knows that she could possibly be doing this and goes, for the love of God, stop. I know what's going on. We can fix this. Also, someone pointed this out to me. I never realized this. Echo was never one of Powder's hallucinations. Until that moment, she thought Echo was a hallucination because she'd never seen him before, and I didn't get this pointed out to me before. She probably thought he was dead because of what happened on the bridge.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So she would think he was a fucking hallucination and then when she knows she thinks he's an hallucination, when she finds out he's real, is after 2 times of her trying to kill herself. When she figures out he's real is when she jumps off to make sure he isn't hurt in the explosion. And then it all gets stopped. Everyone, that is not a writing mistake.
No.
And the other big one that character that everyone bashes the fuck out of in this season especially is Caitlyn. And I'm fucking sick of how just lost everyone is on how Caitlyn was in this season. Because everyone, literally, the joke is, haha, don't argue with blank and blank fandom because we don't watch our show. I have never seen that more now than in this fucking season of Arcane. In the start, Caitlyn just watched her mom or you did watch because you saw the missile go off. Watch them get her mom get murked by Jinx.
Yep.
When do you know what Caitlyn actually did to Jinx? Nothing. What did she do? She became friends with Vi. And then everyone goes, Caitlyn has no reason outside of the mom thing to be upset with Jinx. And I saw someone say this. Jinx has more of a reason to be upset with Caitlyn than Caitlyn has to be upset with Jinx. And I wanted to fucking break my phone in half. Jinx, the only thing Caitlyn's done has been friends with Vi. She came down, Caitlyn, to help her find Jinx. And then when Jinx is found to be the one that was at the Progress Day bombings and all this, do you know who didn't admit that to the council when she had the chance to? Caitlyn. Who admitted it? Vi did. So that one's off. And then Caitlyn gets dumped off by Vi because she fears they're not good oil and water and all that. And then who comes, beats the fuck out of her and kidnaps her in her shower? Jinx. Then who tries to blackmail and psychologically damage Vi into killing her? Jinx! But yet, Ku Klux Kiraman is the thing that I'm seeing coming around because she's a fucking dictator and she's just this mad woman that has no reason to be mad at Sonites. Oh, and I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. So then we get the first episode where you get the Hellfire playing in the background and you have this strike force of people that Caitlyn's going to bring down to target just the drug dealers. And that's it. So that they can take care of them and then take care of Jinx. So they get the gray and they flood only, and everyone likes to forget this, only the parts where the goddamn drug dealers are and where they think Jinx is. They didn't discriminately gas all of Zaun, which everyone likes to say, which they fucking didn't. And then that is when they get pissed off and they go, well, yeah, she's just a dictator doing all this. And then when it finally gets down to it, she was going to kill just Jinx and she got so mad about it, which again, her fucking mom just died. And she got kidnapped out of the shower and beat the fuck out of and tried to have her love interest emotionally manipulated into fucking killing her. She tries to kill Jinx and gets mad when a kid's in the way. And then the thing that everyone misconstrues, there was a meeting between Mbessa and Caitlyn and everyone there. And Caitlyn had one out. She was to try and take a strike force down there and get Jinx on her own so that the Noxians didn't commit martial law. It failed. Then the Noxians themselves, with Mbessa fucking brain-rotting Caitlyn, confirmed martial law. Caitlyn didn't make that fucking decision on her own, which everyone likes to say she did. She didn't. I watched the show again. She didn't. And then this entire time, she is underneath Mbessa, who is calling the shots, and Caitlyn is just letting her do it because she has no other fucking options because Caitlyn's gone. Echo's not there. Chase fucking disappeared. She doesn't have Heimerdinger. She has no way to oppose Mbessa. And Mbessa's doing all this shit, but yet Caitlyn's the one that does it.
Clearly it wasn't
get so mad at a character who did none of 95% of the shit they get mad at. The only time that people where she's kind of like, oh, whatever, she rushed into, again, a situation where she was emotionally manipulated and planted into was the shit with Trader Ginger bitch who's named Maddie, who I'm forgetting.
Maddie. Yeah.
She moved on to that somewhat. And then the other one, dear Jesus, might be the stupidest part of this fucking take, is that she purposely went down to seduce Vi when she was in a vulnerable state.
Guys,
what?
Come on.
Okay,
come on.
I'm going to replay this situation here because this is another one where the hands were being held and people don't realize what that scene actually fucking is. Vi again, who Kiona, what does she do? Put everyone above herself. Is in there mad and pissed at the world because in her mind, she again made the wrong fucking choice and she's lost everyone.
Yeah.
Caitlyn goes down there and they do a really cool thing where they mirror how her and Caitlyn saw each other for the first time in the jail cell. That was a really cool moment. So now you have Caitlyn go in there and what she says, which again, everyone gets mad because Caitlyn didn't apologize. Caitlyn point blank said, we can't undo our mistakes to Jinx. Said that there's some things that we just can't undo. And I'm sorry, in that situation, a simple I'm sorry is not fucking cutting it. It's just past that point. It just is. So she tells Jinx, we can't undo our mistakes. And Jinx openly says, I didn't know your mom was there. I didn't mean to do that just to you. So she openly admits, Caitlyn admits she's sorry that she can't undo her mistakes, that she hates herself for how she's been acting, and she can't do this anymore. Meaning she's giving up on hating Jinx. She's giving up on all this senseless nonsense with trying to get revenge because it's not worth it. And then Vi is down in there wallowing over thinking that she made the wrong decision and she's going to lose Caitlyn over this decision. Because at this point, Caitlyn's the only fucking person she has left in her opinion. Mm-hmm. So then Caitlyn, seeing that Vi is fucking crying in a horrible state, goes up to her in a joking manner and says, I'd hate to say you've grown. Do you really think I needed all the guards at the Hex Gates? Which everyone thinks is her trying to flirt with her. She's not. She's joking with her saying, I fucking knew you were going to come down here. And I openly took you away so that you could let your sister out. I forgive whatever against your sister. I may not forgive her, but I'm over it. I did this so you could reconcile with your sister and let her go. And then she says jokingly, you've become a bit predictable. Now, I don't know everyone's relationship status here. I don't know what everyone's sexual experiences have been. But in this situation, when two people that are estranged but clearly still have feelings buried deep, if you're the one going into the situation to go and seduce someone, when the other person you're supposed to be seducing locks lips with you and it takes you a solid 10 seconds to realize what the fuck's going on, I don't think your goal down there was to seduce her. And then when it immediately is followed with breaking off, going, Vi, I need you to know, hey, I was seeing someone. I don't know if we should do this. Yeah, she went down there, seduced her with that kind of language. And also, my favorite line delivery possibly in the show, because it was the most, and I'm not even saying this because it was a cool, hey, let's go fucking have sex thing. Every time this situation comes up, it results in, what do you mean you saw someone else? I can't love you now. We need to have a whole season of us hating each other.
Exactly.
It was two fucking grown adults realizing shit happened, and Vi just says, Caitlyn, I don't fucking care.
I love that.
I love that line.
That was adults being fucking adults.
And let's be real. I'm like, that was a natural competition. Like, they weren't gonna fuck in a bed. I mean, let's be real. Like, they were just gonna have like the dirtiest, like fucking, like, I'm surprised they weren't in a sewer.
And in that situation, when I watched it back now, Caitlyn never liked Maddie. Ever.
No.
Watch the situation when she goes to curl up next to her. She pushes her away. When she tries to grab her hand, she always...
No, she was a side chick. Like, come on.
Who we now learn from Amanda Overton, she was Noxon the entire time, and Ambessa literally went, no, go try and fuck her, please. By the way, I swear I've shared it with all of you. Anyone, and I mean anyone, who has not seen the Chinese edit of these fucking scenes, go watch them, because it's fucking hysterical. Maddie and Caitlyn are on different ends of the room and they're best friends, and that scene doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. And then, like,
my favorite one is the one at the end with Vi and Caitlyn.
Yeah, when they're just friends standing off, doing stuff, talking. It's the weirdest edits I've ever seen. And the last
hilarious.
one with Caitlyn. This is the thing that bugs me with this show and how I hate the hand holding. When the show is obviously going to continue and you're going to get these characters again because of fucking course you are, not every single fucking character needs to have everything about them laced up in a tiny, nice bow like you're never going to see them again.
I mean, come on, she's not dead.
Well, no, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Caitlyn and Vi.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is mad that Caitlyn hasn't, what I want to say, been retributed enough with the people in Zaun, even though, again, she gave up her fucking seat on the council to a Zaunite so that they'd have representation. But yeah, Caitlyn probably has more work to do, even though she wasn't in charge of it. But here's the crazy thing. They didn't say you'd never see that character again. So maybe there'll be more to show. And the same thing with Vi in that scene. That stuff happens with Jinx.
Yeah.
Give or take, Caitlyn obviously smiles and goes, that crazy fucking bitch might have got out through the ducts. And then you see the pink flash go off, but we don't know in this situation what Vi's situation on this is. Also, the other one, everyone thinks that Vi is still an alcoholic because she's drinking at the end. She's literally drinking out of Vander's glass, and she's taking like 2 sips at a time instead of chugging out the fucking bottle. That is called growth. You can still drink and not be an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But they see Vi happy and content resting against Caitlyn because for once, at one point, she chose to be happy for a second. Is Vi 100% okay? No.
Nope.
But for God's sake, they have a quiet moment and she's choosing to be happy. She can be in a corner and cry later on. There's no way saying she's 100% made up. But in that moment, she wants to be happy for a second. People, just because the ending shows her being happy for a second doesn't mean she's 100% okay. Character development can happen later on. They point blank said you're going to see them later. And if you didn't think you were going to see them later, you're a fucking moron. Jinx is not dead. And you know what's going to happen when Jinx comes back? She's going to come back to a different Vi and Caitlyn because they're going to have gone through some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, I had to get a large amount of that shit off my chest because my fucking God.
No, someone had to say it.
Can you all agree that the amount of hand holding that it just made people not even fucking pay attention and lose the plot halfway through this? I'll agree with everyone. A lot of these plot lines went by faster than they should have, but you fucking understood what happened for the most part, right?
Yeah, it's actually kind of impressive the amount of ground they covered in such a short time, honestly.
They wanted to lay a lot of groundwork because they said they're working on 3 shows, but fucking hell, everyone, watch the goddamn show other than for the love scenes you want to see. The plot that you say isn't there is there. It was rushed in points, yes, but it's fucking there.
It's there.
Anyway, sorry. That was my big thing I had to get off my chest because, dear Jesus. Hey, other than that, I agree with everyone else. Stuff felt rushed, yes, because they did a lot.
Yeah, like this.
It feels weird that the main focus of the first one was Vi and Jinx, and then this one was the Arcane, even though the fucking show is called Arcane. But yeah, anyway, Mike, you're gonna say something. Go.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, this is why. This is why they spent so much money on this show, because they have a lot of rich material to work with, and I also think whether you like the show or not, you definitely should watch that Council of Geeks video, because they do a good job of sort of addressing all of the criticisms, but still admitting that going from absolute perfection in season 1 to season 2, you're going to notice a dip in quality, because
That's another thing also, because something's a 15 out of 10 and then the second season's like a 9, that doesn't mean it's automatically a fucking 2.
Exactly. I mean, look, Arcane's 8 is probably like another show's 10. I mean, like, let's be real.
Absolutely. You're 100% right. 100% right.
Yeah.
I have a list of stuff that people have problems with that I wanted to ask you guys' opinion on, because some of them are actually genuinely good questions that I want to hear people's opinions on. So if you guys got anything else, go.
I'll just say one thing, like a super brief. Going back to what you said episode earlier about it needing like more episodes, like I kind of feel like each act needed to be like one episode longer and then 12 episodes. Yeah, I gave money, but let's just, pretend that money like isn't like a concept for like 5 minutes, or let's just say some of those episodes were maybe like 10 minutes longer, or like whatever. Because to me, Act 1 didn't really feel like Act 1. It just felt like an epilogue of like Act 3 of Season 1.
Yeah, I was going to say something like that too.
Yeah. So then, because it almost feels like Episode 4 should have been like Episode 1. So I guess the issue for me is like the structure is like a little bit weird. Like, if it was me personally, like I love everything that's in Act 1 of Season 2. Like I think it's pretty much perfect. Like it's, to me, like other than like the Echo standalone episode, I feel like it's some of the strongest of like the season. But
it's perfect. Like it got to be its own thing. So it couldn't. Yeah, it was
right. But my thing is, if you knew you had a lot of ground, like I kind of feel like the way the show is structured, like either like most of this could have been like done in a flashback, or literally like all of Act 1 should have just been like one like extended episode, like maybe like closer to like an hour, because like it kind of feels like a lot of it was just like cool, like just fight scenes, and I'm like I kind of like I'm not saying it's bad, but I feel like if they were structuring that route, then I feel like that time could have been like better spent like doing other things. Because so when you think about it, if Act 1 is like the back end of like Season 1, then really Arcane Season 2 is only like 6 episodes.
Yeah. I think one reason why the pacing in like why Season 2 has like more noticeable pacing issues is because the episode, like the runtimes for each episode are just too uniform, like they're all
like 39 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
For most of them.
Like I kind of wish, and I know why like animated shows can't do this, but I kind of wish that like they let each episode be however long the story needed to be. Like there are other animated series that I've watched where like especially on Netflix they're not all just 23 minutes. Some are like 25 minutes or 22 or 27.
Yeah, I noticed that Disney Plus shows tend to do that a lot. Like I kind of feel like the majority of Act 1 you could have summed up in like maybe like a 50-minute episode, like how the end of like Episode 9 was, which ironically I felt like that episode should have been like a full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that's one thing that, again, it's whatever's. I felt like how they framed it, they were trying to do the same framing as 1, where you had the pre-time skip time and then the time skip time, while they did with.
Oh yeah, no, I get what they were trying to do. It
just worked better for me than most people. So I get what you're saying. It's just I didn't as much, and they didn't. I don't want to say this. They covered a lot more in the pre-time skip in the first one than in the second one. And I think why it feels weird is because it was very much one tight-knit thing that they covered in those first 3 episodes, other than the introduction of Isha. And then they covered a metric assload of shit after those 3. If they would have worked some more of them in there, it probably would have worked better.
Yeah, totally.
It gives the epilogue type of feeling, because it was so solely focused on that. But so yeah, I get where you're coming from on that, and that's all.
It feels too much of a mirror of like, you know, season one, which for that specific story they were telling, you know, the time skip needed to happen because I'm like, okay, we have to age these characters up 7 years. And I'm not saying that you couldn't do a time skip. Like, I still feel like the time skip was necessary. I just feel like following like season one structure a little too closely kind of did a disservice to the story.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
All right. Remember something else I would say. The only thing, and the what have they done to us moment was close to this. And this is one thing that I saw that they didn't do as much because they had the Ashes and Blood part, Hellfire. They had a couple of other ones. There wasn't some moments where they slowed down as much and did almost a music video in it. Like, I don't know if there's a thing in animation, anime, period, anything that is as nearly, and I'm going to use the term sexy because it was, as the scene with Dynasties and Dystopias playing on the bridge.
Oh my God.
And Clock. And
yes.
Transitions to fucking
Incredible.
Jinx when she's younger. Oh my God. I'm like, animation is peaked. Everyone fucking quit. You're not topping that. And the closest thing, in my opinion, we got to that in this was the moment where all of them finally get together with Vander.
I kind of have to agree with you. Like, there wasn't that, like, wow, like, holy, like, shit moment. Like, don't get me wrong. There's still, like, a lot of, like, great animation, but I'm like, nothing quite popped off to like that degree.
They never got to slow down and do moments like that. Like the other one in season one, which I will say they had the version of it with Ashes and Blood, but like when I tell people how fucking great the snakes playing in the background from Purvis with Vi and Jace fighting the chem tanks, and the closest thing, and again, this is mean because again, we're judging like a 15 and a 9, and everyone treats it as like a 2. You didn't like this how the ending. You compare endings because again, one was more open, though they're both open ended. You don't have Sting delivering one of the most ear chilling things that like I compare that when people bring up what was the best song comparison in a scene, like people will bring up obviously It's a Leap of Faith. I chuck now I'm not thinking of what it is.
What's Up Danger?
What no not that. What's the song in Arcane?
What Could Have Been?
What Could Have Been. I'm like, I throw that in that same group for being just as good as that.
It's a good one.
Because that build up and the fact that they got fucking Sting to make a song for Arcane.
And did you ever see like the live performance of it at the Game Awards? Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Holy
it's
shit.
It's great.
You're never outdoing that. Like, Josh, I'm sorry. I know the New Gods of Asgard was really good, but you're not fucking beating Sting.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking Sting.
God, that was like my buddy who's not watched Arcane. We were driving to the con where I got that art at, and I had the playlist playing, and then that came up. He's like, "Is that like Sting from the Police Sting?" Like, yeah. He's like, he made a fucking song for Arcane. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and also like I noticed there's definitely a lot less like rapper hip hop because I'm like there's like no like Pusha T or like Denzel Curry either. Like I don't want to say that the soundtrack sounded like whiter. I mean,
a different tone they were going for in a lot of.
No, and also like the weird like Chinese like song with like Isha, which I mean it's still a pretty song, but I'm like okay, like. Yeah, I know. And the French stuff I get because I'm like, it's for Jesus, it's France.
So that would tell I was like, I don't know who made that call, but dear Jesus, that fit perfect.
Which one?
The French song when Echo.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my Lanta. Oh,
I also really like Sucka. I like that song.
oh yeah. Get the fuck out of my head. You so
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Here's the other one that I forgot to bring up that has to deal with Vi. The other media literacy is dead thing.
Okay.
Hey guys, what was the reason why the other timeline is peaceful?
Because there was no Arcane, there was no Hex Tech.
Exactly. Everyone got from that scene. It's because Vi's dead. A child died because of Hex Tech. That's why.
Right. And like even like Marcus is like, oh my God, like, because I'm assuming that version of Marcus, like his whole worldview and like of, you know, like people from Zon changed. He's like, holy shit, like a kid died and everyone just went to bed, or like guys, like we can't ever have this again. Because the other implication is Caitlyn's not there too, because Caitlyn was in the hallway. So they both got nuked.
Yeah. Would Jace be gone too?
I would think so, yeah.
Because if I'm not wrong, he doesn't show up in that at all, right?
No.
He wasn't in it.
And that's another thing that everyone needs to realize about the show too. The other last point I swear to God I'm going to bring up. Almost no one other than Echo and maybe Vi isn't morally gray in this show. Heimerdinger, maybe. But like, everyone likes to say that Silco was such a great guy after he got Jinx and that. I'm like, he was still doing child labor with drug running when he had Jinx. So let's calm down on him being perfect just because he got Jinx.
There's a great line from the season that Cameron pointed out to me last night. No one in power is innocent.
Yeah. In search of perfect, we forgot to. Oh, what's that line? It's so good. In search of perfect, we forgot to do good. It's what Victor says to Jace. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah. Anyway, anyone else? Anything you want to bring up?
I think we got most of our general thoughts out there.
Okay, so genuine, honest to God questions about some of this stuff because I don't know people's opinions on this. I also, in the flashbacks, learns that it's probably Silco's fault that the parents are dead, and that's why Vander tried to like strangle him, because you see that Silco threw the Molotov that started all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the impression that I got.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
That's what I kind of got too. But okay, so problems people had. And I kind of addressed this first one in my own thing where I said that Caitlyn said no, that we can't make up for our mistakes and all this. That Caitlyn never fully apologized to Zonites or Jinx.
Why would she
need to?
I don't think she needs to apologize to Jinx. Like,
why would she need to apologize to her?
Again, remember, everyone thinks she's a goddamn dictator. Remember?
But here's my whole thing with that.
And Bessa was the dictator.
Yeah, like
but she wasn't in charge, Kim. You just didn't watch the show.
No, but here's like the thing too. I'm like, the vibe that I kind of got, and I don't know if that was the intention, is that Kate never really fully bought into it. She was like willing to hear like Mbessa out, but I don't think she was like fully drinking the Kool-Aid.
She had no one.
Yeah, I don't think so.
When she said you oinked the poison in her ear, she said, "I know" immediately.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, Caitlyn's not that stupid. Like, come on. I'm like,
no. Even in an emotionally vulnerable state, she's not like that. No, she wouldn't be like 100% manipulated into that position.
Yeah, no. Give or take, did she not have the time to fight back? But it's also she's like, she openly said she made mistakes, and she said she couldn't make up for them. That's as much as apologizing in that situation. Again,
exactly.
Always just point blank go and say you're sorry. Again, we're fucking adults. People do things dumb. But all right. Next one. Vi and Caitlyn's relationship did not feel fully earned at the end.
Did they not see season 1? I'm just
saying
did they not see like everything that they went through together? Like,
yeah. And I'm like, because as soon as I saw the start of the season, I'm like, there is no way they're ending this show with them not fucking. Like, there's literally zero possibility. And it's probably going to happen in the dirtiest fucking way possible. And I was goddamn right.
Now, next one people had a problem with. Isha having no sort of funeral or being talked about afterwards.
Okay, I need to bring this up on Cameron's behalf because
Okay.
after we wrapped recording last night, he literally said, "Oh fuck, I forgot to talk about Isha."
We have to. Isha was an amazing character. I love Isha.
She was
fucking adorable. And like her running up to Caitlyn and Vi, hugging Vander afterwards, and her like showing Vander around, like getting him water and shit. Like she was literally a little sister in no time.
Yeah.
It was awesome. She was such a great little character. But we're like, you guys think that it was bad or just the fact that, yeah, shit happened. We kind of have other things going on.
I mean, this does kind of add to, it adds a little bit to, like, from an audience perspective, a bit of pacing problems that, like, but also just the fact that they crammed so much story in this season that you can't address every little thing.
Right. But also in that situation, how are they going to mourn for her? You're full of Noxians. Everything's surrounded. You're not getting close to her.
Yeah.
In what situation do they have to do this?
Right, but I thought like the whole thing, like even though it wasn't stated, I guess like the implication is that Isha is like what broke Jinx, and then like the whole resistance of the blue hair, that was like the whole resistance, that was because of fucking Isha pretending to be like Jinx, act like she disappeared. And also I'm like, what to mourn? I'm like, there was nothing of the kid left.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. All right. Savika not having any lines or more real meaning while having screen time after part 2.
It's just a timing thing, I think. It's the fact that they gotta, they were kind of like, we have so much to get through. I don't know that Savika, her part in the story was kind of clear.
The thing is that Savika, even in season 1, is still kind of a minor character. Like, she's still important, but...
The main thing of this is that they were building up how close her and Jinx were getting, and then they feel like they just dropped that off a cliff, is what they're saying. And my opinion is, no. Jinx wasn't near her to say anything.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly what I mean when I said exactly. It's just that, like, Savika's part in the story had kind of been done. Like it was like that was her major role in this season.
Yeah,
and so after that,
parts at the end.
Right, exactly. It was a major role. She was one of the people that actually really helped Jinx out. So like, I think that her role was well done, and I think it was at that point it was finished.
Yeah, like that's the same thing where I saw people saying that they ruined Vi and Echo's relationship because they were like brother and sister. I'm like, they never saw each other the whole season. So you're just mad they didn't talk when they would have never been near each other?
They weren't,
This is what irritates me about these ensemble shows. People just start bitching because their characters didn't be in a room.
Right, and also, kind of think of it, did Vi even know that Echo was alive after the bridge?
I don't know.
Did she know? Yeah, she probably didn't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Sometimes characters split apart and they go on different journeys and stuff, and that's just part of fiction. That's just how it is. And then you hope that eventually they reunite.
That's what
sometimes they don't.
Also, the fact of characters not meeting each other. I'm pretty sure Victor had no fucking idea who Echo was. So he just had the embodiment of time thrown at him by some random Zaunite that he didn't know who he was. Also, by the way, is Echo like officially the MVP of the entire show?
Oh, he's kind of straight. And you know what? The only crime is that he deserved more screen time. But yeah, he's absolutely the MVP of this fucking show.
I wonder if he's the focus of one of these spin-offs.
Well,
because he deserves
possibly to explore more stuff with Time Bomb. So, well, we need to also. Okay, so I fully understand that Ruby ruined pair naming by just slapping two names together. How the fuck did we go with Kate V and not Violin?
Yeah, I know.
Did we seriously drop that ball?
What are we even doing? How did that not be the first option? Kate V.
Maybe it's because nobody refers to her as Violet.
Like
in the fandom, I mean, like we always just talk about her as Vi. Maybe
but like,
we just,
even if you take Vi and then Lynn off Caitlyn, you have Violin.
That's true. Yeah,
I just don't get how we fully skipped over that.
That would have been good.
But,
Violin. I like that.
Exactly. That actually rolls off the tongue. All right.
Yeah.
Now, one that I have a genuine honest to God thing for, because I don't know how to feel about it now. That it turns out that Silco knew them ever since they were children. Does the only thing I'm wondering here, it kind of seems like, at least to me, when they started, that Powder kind of didn't know who Silco was fully. Because when that whole, she's like,
yeah, that's what I thought.
Because he's like, hello, child, where's your sister? He doesn't talk like he knows her.
No. Is that a retcon that Silco's been like kind of?
I don't even know if it's a retcon. I almost kind of just wonder if him and Vander started the fallout earlier, and he only really knew Vi as a baby, because I just don't Vi and Powder have like a 3-year like age difference.
Here's the thing that brings that up though, because you see Vi and Caitlyn growing up all the way, and then Silco and Vander have their breakup when the parents die. Because if we go by what's on the bridge, the parents die because Silco threw a Molotov, and their breakup happens when Vander tries drowning him after that. So he would have known them up until like Powder was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I don't know how to feel about it. Like if they were just told, hey, don't mess with Silco, and that's why you don't talk with them. And then Powder was so messed up that she just went for the most familiar figure in that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was confusing to me too.
I would honestly have to go back and rewatch both seasons to kind of put that together.
Yeah, you know what? I almost kind of used to wonder, and this is the only thing that would make sense to me, is if Vander just personally said just to stay away from him.
Silco.
Yeah. Because that would be the most logical, like, easiest explanation.
Yeah. Also, that speech from the imagination, the fake Silco in the cell talking about what we mix up ourselves, these prison cells, and we call them us.
Yeah.
Whoever is writing these fucking
was
fantastic. Holy shit. Okay. So,
Yep.
What was the we talked about that one already. Okay, so
seeing happy Silco was very, very weird for me too.
It was like a jump scare.
But I loved it.
That was, and then Echo going, "Didn't you try and kill him?" It's like, yeah, there's no power greater than forgiveness. I'm like, dear God, everyone's happy over here. But I'm so happy that I got to see Captain Eyebrows. What's his name? The guy that Yuri Lowenthal voiced.
Oh yeah. Milo.
Yeah.
Milo.
Good Lord.
Milo and Clagger.
Yeah.
Lord. Okay. One thing that people were mad about, which essentially this person is the cause of basically everything that happens in the show, that Singed is the only one that got a true happy ending.
Yeah, that was a little...
I'm honestly asking. I just kind of like, that's a product of whatever, but some people were rather pissed about that. I'm like, I think we're kind of just supposed to show that
that's
not everyone gets the right ending, and sometimes a villain gets what he wants.
That's just life,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's life. I mean, I thought it was weird. I wouldn't really get like irrationally like angry about it, just because I think Singe is like not that big of a character to really get like that upset over.
The fact that basically 95% of every single bad thing that happened in the show was because of Singe, and then he was the only one that got a good ending. Because like Jinx, all that Shimmer shit got done with that. Vander, all the stuff with Best. Like he pretty much was the architect of 95% of the shit in the show.
I don't have someone say that he was just an opportunist. I mean, he's basically like League's version of Mr. Freeze.
Makes sense.
To a degree, yeah. Okay.
I guess we're not sending him to the cooler.
No.
No.
My disposition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy.
Nice forecast.
You are forcing.
A freeze is coming.
Do not kill the dinosaurs. The Ice Age. All right. So they did openly admit that there was a giant chunk of Echo and Jinx stuff cut from the part in between. Now, I'm asking you guys your opinion and to see if you that. In my opinion, I think the decision was correct because you don't get the effect of the surprise of Jinx's entire base floating over the hill if you watch them preparing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would have liked to seen at least one more scene with them, but I don't think, the extent of like what they wanted. Again, I feel like, if these episodes were a bit longer, and honestly, I feel like the final episode of Arcane only being 50 minutes was kind of...
Apparently, there's around 45 minutes of just Echo and Jinx stuff that got cut.
And I don't think you need that. I mean, honestly, maybe if it was just like an extra like 5 minutes, like that would have been fine.
Like people said that they probably would, if they saw anything, that they would have wanted to possibly see Echo telling them about the other version that was just powder.
But why would you need to say that? Because I feel like that would undermine the whole story of him learning that powder is still there. I'm like,
that's the only version they would have wanted to see. But I was like, I don't think you need that. The other thing, and this is people on Tumblr going nuts. I have to ask because I have to ask. So in that end scene, as they're coming up with the Lost Boys, where we're playing, that she's got a brand new haircut. She finally looks like she's gotten a good meal for the first time in roughly 16 years. And she looks like she got 8 hours of sleep, and they're both covered in body paint. Do you think that they finally just had a good talk, or that they had their scene off screen? I think it's the former.
Yeah.
I think just a lot of people were horny to see those two go at it.
I'm like, couldn't they just do crafts together?
That's what I kind of thought it was, where they were just making the base look good, and he like just sat her down and talked her down. But everyone has to think that whatever. Everyone's like,
okay. Yeah, I'm like, let's just back up. So the thing with like Kate and Vi was inappropriate, but it's okay for Echo to have sex with a girl who's suicidal.
I was like, everyone, we need to remember the full details. They probably just had a really good time being dorks.
Yeah.
I'm just like, guys, come the hell on here.
I mean, that's why. I mean, you saw that stupid edit where I changed the music and I changed it to like turn down for what? Because I secretly like both her and Echo. Yes, they are that cringe.
Oh hell yeah, they would totally do that.
No,
totally.
My favorite edit was someone putting Bonnie Taylor over Echo in the last minute when he hits Victor.
Oh, that's great. Oh, did you see the one is where they come in and it's like Kendrick yelling mustard?
That was fucking funny. That I'm like, yes. But okay, so we forgot to talk about something. And we all agree it might have been our favorite moment in episode 9. When Maddie bites the bullet quite literally.
Yeah.
Yep.
That whole scene, and someone pointed it out to me before I watched the second time. They have that impact frame where you get to see her looking like fucking Koro Sensei from fucking Assassination Classroom with the jagged ass smile, showing that she's evil. She was going to shoot Caitlyn in the base of her spine. That's fucked. That's no immediate death. That's being paralyzed and drowning in your own blood. And I appreciated your warmth. And she just drops, and Caitlyn's like, ugh. But that fucking fight scene between Caitlyn and Bessa, and then eventually Mel, when she's trying to have the talk and Caitlyn just bashes her in the face and goes, shut up and fight. I'm like, oh, Caitlyn, no one's ever going to make me hate you. Oh, it's so good. And now I'm going to ask you another question. Do you think Caitlyn fully lost her eyesight or it's healing? Because someone zoomed in on the frame and her eyeball is still there. The curvature of the eyeball is still there. Do you think she's going to eventually have the foggy-eyed whatever, or it's going to heal? Because she didn't get stabbed. It was a slice.
I definitely think she has some sort of like eye damage, but she'll probably get it just to make her, because she's already so different from her game counterpart anyway. It'll probably be like a scope eye or something like that.
Probably.
It'll be some part, because they have a character that is Noxian, that's well known, that has an eye patch on the same eye. So they're like, I'm like, she's not turning into another character. It's probably not going to last. But
all I know is that the eye patch made her about 75% hotter.
I know.
Oh,
yeah.
It's looking like fucking female big boss in that chair, clicking through those fucking. I'm like, oh, the things I let you do to me, woman. But oh my god. But yeah. It's,
So speaking of the clicking, just going back to the like whole like Jinx thing a sec, and this is like, other than the fact that like come on, it's fucking like Jinx. I think it was in episode 1 of like Act 1. She says,
like
"I'm gonna."
5 minutes.
Yeah. She said, "I'm gonna fly one of those someday," and it's like, and it's like, come on.
And it's like we literally have the plot line of what's going to happen with her set up. Because I had a person who's played League explain this to me in 2 seconds. There is a person who she leaves Zaun and Piltover and meets, named Lux, who becomes like her best friend. And she's super happy and jokey and all this and blah, blah, blah. So let's say Jinx goes there, meets Lux, has a talk about how this and that, and I think my sister's only going to be okay if I'm not around her. That's why I left, blah, blah, blah. Another thing that everyone hates because they think that because they think that it's showing them that it's impossible for Jinx and Vi to be happy if they're in the same freaking city together, which is not what they meant.
No, that's not
what they meant. Learns all of this and goes, oh, maybe I am being fucking stupid. I really should go back and talk with them. And then you have a situation where you're going to have the plot lines that didn't fully go off with Vi and Caitlyn as they're working on their own shit. And then Jinx makes her way back to Piltover, which eventually there's a full-blown other Noxian invasion that happens if they go on that plot line with Swain. So they can have them meet up again very easily if you took 2 seconds to look at the lore they base this shit off of. That took me 2 seconds, and I'm not even a League player.
What, you don't hate yourself enough, Brock?
No, my favorite quote that someone put on Tumblr, and it is so perfect. Wait, hold on. I need to make sure that I get this correct so I don't misquote it.
I think I know which quote it is.
Because I'm pretty sure I showed Mike it, but I have to make sure that come on, where is it? Oh, by the way, another topic that we forgot to talk about that was in the list that I forgot to bring up, that it is super hysterical that Drake is suing Mar for possibly boosting his Spotify ratings and not for Kendrick Lamar calling him a pedophile.
One of the funniest
I
stories.
think that is one of the best things to come out of that entire feud ever. He's like, no. That song about him calling me a pedophile didn't get 50 million views. I know that's not true. But what about the pedophile part? Yeah, I know that song did not get 50 million views. But shoot, where's the exact quote? Where is it? Anyway, it was basically playing League after watching Arcane is like trying meth after you watch Breaking Bad.
Wow.
I'm like, that might be the most perfect thing of that ever. Where everyone's like, even League players are like, yeah, just enjoy Arcane. Don't play League.
I mean, but it's better. Yeah, you know, if you really want to make them become a feral like meth head, mention Yumi.
God. But yeah, it's like we said, we had issues with the show as a whole, but again, Arcane's 8 is some shows 12.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's one thing that in media, period, needs to stop. When something comes out and they go, that show is perfect. That movie's perfect. That thing should not have been able to be achieved, and it's a fucking miracle that they pulled that off. It comes out, I didn't like that as much. Well, this is fucking terrible trash. It's nowhere near that god tier mythical thing that I made the first one out to be.
It's almost like taste is subjective.
Almost.
It's like, I just mean, when you go out of your way to label something as this mythical being, because of how good it is, and you can't understand how it got made, and you don't like the next part of it as much, you shouldn't immediately think it's a piece of shit because it wasn't as good as the thing you just spent 4 years saying you still can't believe how they were able to pull that off. Because maybe it was really fucking hard to pull that off.
Yeah.
Just maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a crazy idea, Brock.
I don't know. I should just stop talking. I'm just what do I know? Nothing is perfect except this. That's perfect.
Oh yes, that's perfection. That's 1,000,000 out of 10. No notes.
Oh, jeez.
All right. We talked about that for a while. We got the list all the way through. I'm quite happy about that. Anyone else have anything else that they want to say about the show? Anything in general? That's all.
About the show? Oh, go ahead.
The last thing I have to say is, again, kind of previewing the upcoming episode of Renegade Animation. The last quarter, Netflix has kind of been killing it. Like all
yeah, honestly, yeah.
All three shows that we spotlighted in that podcast: Arcane, Tokyo Override, which is only 6 episodes and really fucking amazing, and Gentry Chow versus the Underworld.
Don't forget, Tomb Raider's rather recent. They have a second season of Nocturne coming out. They have that fucking Devil May Cry anime that's coming out. They're fucking knocking it out of the park over there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, after a couple, I don't even say dud years, but like, years, they've really kind of like fucking gotten, their mojo back.
And for including anime, Dandadan.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I forgot all about that. My God, that's getting so good.
and I'll say Dragon Ball Daima because Netflix and Crunchyroll have that one too.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dandadan only has 13 episodes, so that means there's only a few more episodes left, and that makes me sad.
Well, they're supposedly going to have news about stuff coming up.
Good point, Zach.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're supposed to have news about the new one.
Right.
Shockingly, probably going to announce, we're doing another season.
such shocking revelations.
Yeah.
Like I might explode from shock.
I saw one of the best memes the other day. Handsome Momo isn't real, but she can't hurt you. Handsome Momo. And then it shows that fucking scene of right before Gigi shows up at the door and she's got her fucking hair pulled back. But she's trying to imitate no, I can't think of that personality's name. The one that she had the crush on that's got the same name as Akaroon.
Ken
Takakura, where she's doing the impersonation of his character to try and get
I know.
Granny.
Every time they make those fucking Muppet faces, I lose my shit.
Or like when they have the bad proportions running down the hallway, they're like, "This is animated bad." Like, no, they're doing that on purpose.
It's science. It's Saru. I'm like, you don't understand art. Fuck you. Go away.
Good God, yeah.
I mean, the opening of Don 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 was like directed by the guy who did the Scott Pilgrim anime. Like, you don't know shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really good. Don 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 is fantastic. But all right, this is encroaching in on 3 hours, so let's get the hell on out of here.
All right,
everybody.
I have some special. I'm gonna come back.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they wouldn't make it over Kill a Kill. My God. What are we doing? I'm scared.
Microphone from Slovakia.
Nice.
But one of my new babies. So now that I make videos of stupid shit, I have like more disposable income. So that was like my fancy thing. But these are nice and they're my babies, and I will play with them tomorrow.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Let's get the hell on out of here. Kiona, where can everybody find you?
Taking kind of a break off of Twitch until the new year, but hopefully we'll get it restarted again. I got my Twitch recap for this year, which is kind of cool. Anyway, twitch.tv/neoplasmic. You can find me there. Also, as people can see on screen, neoplasmic.bsky.social if you want to follow me on Blue Sky. I'm still on the Twitter at neoplasmic24 and Instagram at threads neoplasmic81.
Mike?
You guys can find me on various social media sites at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Blue Sky at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon. And
for some reason, we've opened the box.
Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And the Banana Meter. And you can follow everything that we have on renegadepopculture.com for his game so quick.
He brings up, we were having, I don't remember what show we were doing for Fresh Takes, but he just randomly brings up the fucking Banana Meter and I lost my shit. I'm like, fucking what? And then he only did it for like 6 more weeks. I'm like, no. You don't stop bringing up the Banana Meter.
We gotta meter our bananas. Come on, guys.
Wasn't it like it's the Rotten Tomatoes, but for like podcasts or something?
It's more just like an independent version of Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because all those paid reviews.
If you're gonna measure anything, it might as well be in bananas.
That's how never mind.
Why I said it.
I got you. I know you.
I appreciate it.
Teeing you up there. Okay.
Yeah, it's just really, hanging low down there.
The banana hammock.
Jesus, Bree, where can everyone find you?
Regrettably, if you do wish to find me, it's at Crazy Libra at B Sky Social. My Twitter technically is still active, but I do not fuck there anymore. I'm also at Lemur's Rule Run.
There?
No. But I'm also at Labor's Rule 1 on Instagram. I edit stuff. I do stuff. I'm working on screenplays and stuff. So if you just love a caffeine infused, like, manic pixie, whatever, I'm your girl. Follow me there.
All right. You can find me everywhere at Noganoid Zero. Noganoid Zero. Good Lord. I will maybe No, I will be. I might not be streaming a game this week, but we will be streaming the Game Awards.
We got the Game Awards.
I am trying my damnedest to get a bingo card again. I'm like. I have a couple more to put in there that I have to make the bingo card tomorrow. So we'll be doing the Game Awards. Looking forward to that.
The Please Wrap It Up Awards.
Please.
Oh God, if they do that again.
I can't wait to see.
Are you going to make a non-alcoholic drinking game of it?
Oh God,
I would die. No,
I would make it an alcoholic drinking game if I could.
Who rushed?
Well, I don't want Brock to die, so.
No, you just make a drink for every time Jeff is really, 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 really excited about this next game coming up.
That's revolutionary. It will change the way games are made.
Like he's Seth Rollins up there. He's a revolutionary.
I mean, I just hope that they finally just have Kojima and Jeff have sex on stage. I mean, we've waited long enough.
I mean,
I know.
Point. Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, score to Carolyn Polchek music because, of course, he listens to Carolyn Polchek because why not?
We've had Caitlin and Vi. It's time for Jeff and Hideo.
Yeah, the next top gay relationship, Kojima and Jeff Keighley. Right up there. Everyone
can we have like the chick, the Gillette and Razor man come over there and like officiate the wedding or something? Like,
I'm gonna say to shave them down.
Also that.
Oh my God.
Anniversary. We're seeing them tomorrow. All right, everyone. We're gonna see you all later.